It's now time for Ermanni and Edwards with Maz, live on the Woodward Sports Network. Every day, 2 to 4 p.m. Starring Ryan Ermanni, Michigan great and former NFL baller Braylon Edwards, and of course, Tom Mazawey. Let's talk some sports.
And welcome to the Maz Show here live on WoodwardSports.com and Fox2Detroit.com. We are lucky enough to sit here with Tom Mazawey today as he sits in his big chair. Flannel Sam and I get to be up here on the desk, but also got to acknowledge, can we get a close-up of Flannel Sam? Look at this hair today. Ken doll status hair. Lumberjack status wardrobe. But still looking mighty fine.
How does my wife keep her hands off me?
I don't know.
She doesn't.
Oh. All right. Well, you're newly married. Give it a couple years. Right, Maz?
Oh, yeah.
As a formerly married guy, you're in for it, buddy. I love you. We got JB on the ones and twos, looking awesome in that Bears jersey from basketball.
Yeah.
Has anybody ever seen basketball? Maz, you seen basketball?
I have not seen basketball.
You have not seen basketball?
I have not.
Come on, man.
Of all movies, you would love the first 5 minutes of that movie.
Okay.
Because it explains how teams went from one space to another space, like the Minneapolis Lakers went to L.A., but they made fun of them where there is no lakes.
I love that. Yes.
The Jazz went to Utah where they don't allow jazz music.
That is great.
And they just make fun of it. You would absolutely love it.
That is my kind. I did watch, I don't know why, but I wanted to watch A Few Good Men again, and I just loved it. I just loved it again. I just loved that freaking movie. That's all. That's all I got last night.
Is that what you watched last night?
Well, yeah, after Yellowstone and a couple of sporting events here and there, I flipped on, I just talked into my remote and said, A Few Good Men, please.
No, you're lucky. You're lucky it pulled up the Tom Cruise movie.
It did.
That's true. Sometimes when you Google search that, it is not exactly what you want to look at.
It was definitely a Tom Cruise movie. You can't handle the truth.
That is a great movie. I stand here so you don't have to.
Yeah. Oh my God, was that greatly acted?
Fletch, have you ever seen basketball?
No.
Good Lord, have you seen
I
basketball?
have not seen basketball.
It's just us.
JB. And this is not a generational thing where it's like old man stick and you didn't see Rudy or the program or something that came out well before you were born. But this is, are you aware of what the movie is?
I'm aware of it, but I don't even really know what it's about, honestly.
I'll give you a hint.
Okay.
Basketball.
Oh, basketball and baseball combined into sports.
Similar to Foley, but a whole movie about basketball.
Okay.
I cannot believe. JB, do you believe this? Blasphemy?
I don't. It's so weird. It's just us two. Like, I don't get it. Like, I thought everyone would have seen this movie.
For real.
Especially if you love South Park, too. Like, that's the creators of South Park.
Do you guys like South Park?
I actually do like South Park.
Maz?
I do. I don't really watch it, but I always watch the snippets that are out there.
Okay. It's a wild conversation. I thought for sure of all movies everybody had seen basketball.
Yeah.
So you rocking that Bears jersey? These guys are just like, that's a cool jersey. They have no idea what it means.
Yeah, they have no idea who
I knew it
Joe
had to be a
Cooper
movie
is.
because this man is the master of movie jerseys. He is it. That's why I got him the Clark Griswold special
Yes,
for
very
Christmas.
nice.
Honolulu Blue Sparty in the WoodwardSports.com chat. Stick acting like it was a good movie. It was a good movie. It was hilarious.
Yeah.
Heard your sister's going out with Squeak. Steve Perry. Steve Perry. And I should have been gone. That's one of the greatest scenes of all time.
I think Shaq made all his money in the NBA? No, in college.
Oh, man. Okay. Well, either way, go check out basketball this weekend. Welcome to the show today. We got a lot of stuff to talk about. Tom VanHaaren is going to be joining us. Maz, why don't you tell us all about Tom and what he does?
Oh, he's a college football expert, scouting expert, analyst on ESPN, does golf work as an author, wrote Braylon's book with him, and he's just a great guest. We're going to talk national championship with him, Jim Harbaugh. The rumors are just getting more and more and more. I think he's a goner. I do. And we're going to ask Tommy what his opinion is. Coming up at 3.
Everything you said right there, what stood out. Braylon has a book?
Yeah. Braylon's got a book.
Ooh. I'm sitting in his chair and I didn't know that. It's bad, isn't it?
Yeah.
What's the name of Braylon's book? I wish Braylon was here. What's the name of his book?
I'd have to. I don't remember the name of it, but it is like almost like an autobiography.
Okay.
Yeah.
Man, we're gonna have to read that book.
Yeah.
Like I feel like I got to know my boy a little bit better. If there was a book about me, I'd expect you all to read it.
I would read it.
See?
But I also got to read about Braylon, though, because he's my friend, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
We're
what are
working
your-
on a book, man. You and Pat McAfee, aren't you?
Me and Pat, yeah. Oh, we got to talk about that today.
Hell yeah.
Pat
Can't
McAfee
wait.
has placed a bet with Woodward Sports, and it's going to be interesting what happens Sunday night. We've kind of switched up what we're going to do for the game and post game here, so we're going to talk about that today. Obviously, DeMar Hamlin is still topic number one when it comes to sports. Dan Campbell opened up practice today with the Lions. They said a prayer for him. He talked about that during his press conference, and we'll have some audio from his press conference coming up later on in the show. So we also have to acknowledge there hasn't been much updates. The biggest turn of events that I've heard so far is that they turned him over to take some pressure off of his lungs,
Yep.
and he's on 50% oxygen right now instead of the 100% oxygen that he was on yesterday.
That's great news. Any news that is improving is great. He got the best care on that field, and they're going to pull him through. I know it. He's going to pull through, and he's going to live a full life. I'm positive of it.
Yeah, and this is for the next couple days. You know, I talked about my buddy Jonah yesterday who went through something similar, and he was in a coma for 4 days, and there is no new information. It's, you know, okay, maybe the oxygen levels, stuff like that, but there isn't going to be any leaps and bounds immediately.
Right.
So we're not going to have a ton of updates to deliver, but we also want to keep you in the know of what we do know here.
They just need him to start breathing on his own. That's the main objective here, to get him off oxygen completely and for him to get better and better and better. Here's the downside. It's the NFL and how they will treat him going forward. If he doesn't play again, I hope they take care of him. I hope they take care of him better than they've taken care of players in the past. I hope that he's going to be I hope the money is going to be there for him because he's not making a lot of money this year.
Yeah, 160,000 was his, and then I saw other people breaking it down, and
That's
after
what I mean.
agents and after all that stuff, he's probably taking home about $120, maybe $110
if he's lucky.
Yeah,
if he's lucky. So let's hope that the NFL steps up and does something that they haven't done in the past. Take care of their players.
Yeah, one thing you pointed out to me is how much flack T. Higgins has been taken for this. I didn't even see it, but T. Higgins, the father of DeMar Hamlin, is asking for people to stop blaming T. Higgins.
Bart Scott came out on ESPN a couple of days ago, and he said he partially blames T. Higgins for lowering his head into DeMar. You know, T. Higgins is just trying to prevent a car crash on him. He's trying to protect himself. It's football. So other players have come out and they have ripped Bart Scott. Bart Scott, can't wait, that guy,
Right.
Bart Scott. And I haven't heard back from him yet if he's apologizing or whatever, but it's not T. Higgins' fault, guys. We saw the play. It's a freak accident. That's what it is.
It seems like anytime there's tragedy in life, people try to find the reason for it instead of understanding that sometimes bad things just happen.
I mean, honestly, what Bart Scott said, in my opinion, is an absolute disgrace because they're making a guy like T. Higgins, who is an innocent football player just trying to do his job, feel bad about. I mean, Bart Scott basically blamed him for partially causing an event on the field that where a guy's heart stopped that we've never seen before, and all T. Higgins was doing was playing football. I mean, I know that T. Higgins knows deep down in his heart that it wasn't his fault, but when you got somebody blaming you for it, when you see something like that you've probably never seen before, it's almost human nature to kind of question yourself. It's like, what could I have done differently? And he doesn't need that right now. He's already shooken up. Everybody on the Bengals and Bills are shooken up. The whole NFL is shooken up. It was just a freak thing. No need to blame T. Higgins. That was crazy.
Yeah, and that's what I was saying. Like, sometimes bad things just happen, right?
Yes.
And sometimes there's nobody to blame. Nobody to blame. It's a violent sport. Hits happen. We've seen hits like that on every single play. It wasn't like it was a specialty hit. And honestly, he got up after the hit, and then his body was shaken from it. And obviously, I don't know what happened in that short period of time, but that's football. And to blame one individual for this, I think, is just lazy.
Did you see what the NFL is doing? All the teams, including the NFL, on Twitter, on Facebook, they all changed their avatars to that. the big number 3, and for Damar Hamlin. Just the support. If you pass Cincinnati's Great American Ballpark, the Cincinnati Reds, and Paycor Stadium where the Bengals play, they have their scoreboards are lit up, for this young man, for Damar Hamlin. So if you're passing it out on the roads, you're seeing this. Niagara Falls, they put the blue light on Niagara Falls today as well. Everyone is praying for this kid. It really is. The whole country really has come together for this young man, because they don't remember back in the day in 1971 when Chuck Hughes went down for the Lions. They don't remember that. This is in your face right now. It's really shaken the whole sports world. And I know there are other people out there sick, people out there homeless, all of that. We care about all of that. But this is on national TV. That's why it is in the forefront, because people write in, they're like, well, how about the people that don't have homes? What about the sick people?
We can always play the what about game. Somebody's always got it. I know.
Worse.
Somebody always does. Right.
It's always something. Right now, this young man, a terrible injury on national TV before our eyes. It shook everybody, and everyone is praying for this kid. That's why I know he's going to make it through this.
Yeah, as you see, Dan Orlovsky was praying on ESPN.
Yeah.
And it's strange to me how praying has become kind of like a taboo thing. And listen,
it's sad.
Whatever religion makes you a better person, I'm in full support of. Whatever language you need to pray in, whatever direction you need to pray, I don't care. If you're praying for somebody to get better, who are you to say that that's a wrong thing to do? Even if you don't agree with their religion, they're praying to what they believe in.
Absolutely. I mean, the power of prayer is real, and it's great to see a guy like Dan Orlovsky just pray on air with his fellow coworkers, and then you see the Twitter post about pray for this man, Damar Hamlin, and obviously Damar Hamlin is getting better. There's only so much you can do as sort of an outsider, but just the power of prayer. Let's hope that he gets through this. And I'm just glad that people are showing solidarity. It really shows the humanity in the world and in the NFL community as well. This is a brotherhood. Their brother is down. They want the brother to be better, to get better, and I think that he will.
Yeah, well, you saw the look on the faces of the players, and that's something that'll stick with me, because they did a good job of blocking, so you didn't see the CPR happening. But what I will remember from watching is Josh Allen's face, is Stephon Diggs' face, because that
Sean McDermott.
That to me triggered something in me that's I've never seen this before. I've never seen this type of reaction, and that's what really stuck out from me. We're going to take a quick break. When we get back, I'll talk a little Pat McAfee. Me and him got a little bet going on. Woodward Sports could be bringing Pat McAfee to Detroit, and we'll talk about that next right here on woodwardsports.com and fox2detroit.com.
Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Beverly Hills Golf, Woodward Golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today.
Introducing the Planet Fitness Guide to getting that post-workout glow. Step 1. What's your why? More epic energy? Better sleep? Blow off steam? Step 2. Join Planet Fitness for just $10 a month and get moving in our clean and spacious clubs. Step 3. Bask in that post-workout glow. Join Planet Fitness today for just $10 a month.
Join today at any of the 50-plus Detroit area locations.
Get a shot up. This is for the win. All of Detroit's sports teams live on Woodward. All of Detroit's sports coverage lives on Woodward Sports. Driving the best in Detroit sports coverage.
Hey gang, it's Maz for Chili Peppers Tanning, 27 locations and more on the way. 2 of them right here on Woodward Avenue. Got to get there because they can beat all competitors by $5 on unlimited tanning and more. Plus, you get the cleanest salons in the D. The hottest bulbs, the hottest deals, the darkest tans. Your vitamin D headquarters is chilipepperstanning.com.
And after you get tan, get energized with Cintron, because Cintron is the official energy drink of the Red Wings. Cintron has combined all 3 of their delicious flavors into a limited edition 6-pack sampler box. Okay. Try Cintron's great tasting cranberry, classic, and sugar-free all in one pack. Pre-order your Cintron 6-pack sampler box today at cintronworld.com/Red Wings. Get energized with Cintron, and let's go Red Wings. Get dope like me.
Dope like me.
It wasn't MCDC. It was their PR person. In the way they went about declining it, I was like, oh, okay, all right. If that's how it's going to be, you know. And there's a lot of people from Detroit going, he's hunkering down. It's a big week. This isn't Pee Wee football. Shut the fuck up, okay? The coach is going to be on a microphone. This is the biggest game of the year that's going to happen. We have other things scheduled. Sorry about it. See, it's like, I thought we had a pretty good relationship with you guys. For every action, tell him, Aaron, there's an equal and opposite
reaction.
Bingo. And they're going to feel that from me. And every single Lions fan that was tweeting me, calling me a and stuff like this, because I tweeted him like, keep going, keep it going.
Perfect.
Don't lose.
Fuel the fire.
Do not lose on Sunday. Okay, do not. And that's not because, I want to do that. The people at Detroit have sucked for a long time in the sports department. That is not, their fault. But yeah, we got big dogged by the Lions and okay, we'll see how that. Okay.
Sounds good.
Good luck. Good luck. It was what my response was. Hope you win. Okay, hope you win, because this thing's going to be active on Monday, live from the national championship, in front of a crowd of thousands and thousands of people. And I assume I might be on level 10,000 if you're going to put a couple thousand people out there. I have no idea what everybody else is going to do.
And that is Pat McAfee talking about the Detroit Lions and how they would not allow him to interview Dan Campbell this week. It is woodwardsports.com and fox2detroit.com. Maz saw that. There was a dude from Detroit that tweeted out saying, hey, there's just weird energy for being shot down for an interview. And then Twitter just went crazy at him, talking about, he must not be used to being told no. I mean, he was being attacked for the color of his skin. He was being attacked for only being a punter, and Tom Brady don't even think you're an athlete. They were Detroit Lions Twitter threw everything they could at Pat McAfee yesterday.
I will tell you this, as a producer, working on my 27th year in this business, when you ask a team for help to get players on, to get coaches on, some teams help you more than others. They didn't want to help Pat McAfee out this week. I think they should have, personally. The guy loves the Lions. Let's face it. He's the only really national guy besides Dan Orlovsky and Brian Baldinger. But this guy has got a huge platform. Huge. He is bigger than anything. They put him on College Game Day. That's how big he is. So to say no to this guy, I think, was a mistake by the Lions. All it would have done was shed more light on us and how the Lions have turned it around. 1-6, now 8-8. Have a chance to make the playoffs for the first time in 5-6 years. But a real team that gets in. Mike Martz said, if they get in, look out. They missed an opportunity here. If you ask me, I have no issue with what he said. But you know what? He came back, and this is 2023. I gotta apologize. Puts out the blanket apology stick.
Yeah, and we can read that right now. In the lead up to the biggest regular season game in Lions recent history, I was hoping to showcase this brand new Detroit Lions one last time to our audience. As Aaron alluded to in today's convo, the Lions are in the main event of Week 18 with potentially a playoff berth on the line against the Packers on Sunday Night Football. Our show loves the Detroit Lions. Love with 2 exclamation points. Check the tape. Always rooting for the Lions. We took pride in the fact that we talked about the Lions rather regularly. We always tried to spin it in a fashion as if we were rooting for the Lions, because we genuinely were. Then why would you use the word spin? Their Lions fans were fantastic to interact with. The Red Wings stink, but that's neither here nor there. I thought we had built up a good enough relationship with the Lions to put in a request for MCDC to stop by anytime, any day. And since we rarely, although MCDC was on very recently, we rarely reach out for anybody ever. That's why we have a regular returning folks. Quote, friends of the program. You know how they speak on Pat McAfee. I hate asking people to come on the show. It's a part of the business, but there's so much that I don't like about it. Like it takes time out of people's day to come on our show, and when you're asking them to come on, they're probably not going to be able to do something that they'd like to be doing. I forgot about that briefly while I made up my mind that I was offended by saying we pass, by them saying we pass, he has stuff already scheduled. This is the NFL. They have the biggest game of the year coming up. They obviously don't want to take up any more of MCDC's time. Big game in all caps. This would be epic if the Lions were able to accomplish this. They have ex-player coaching, they have an underdog spirit, and they're in the hunt right now still. I love it. I felt offended by the situation. I talked some about the situation, but it wasn't needed. I apologize for doing that. I'd also like to apologize for adding any negative stuff to the world. We have had a great time of year for football coming up. I would like to be an additive to the folks enjoying it. I was acting like a baby, spoiled in that clip. I watched it back from earlier. That ain't me. In the current spirit of perspective, I felt obligated to say this to Foxy, the Lions, and the Lions PR. Cheers and Happy New Year. Sam, what do you think about that apology?
I mean, I'm kind of with Maz. I don't necessarily think that he needed to apologize. The thing about Pat McAfee is you've seen all year, he is one of the guys that has rooted for the Lions. Dan Campbell's been on his show. Pat McAfee has interviewed Dan Campbell and kind of showcased him to the world. And one of the things that people can relate to with the Detroit Lions, especially with their big turnaround, is their coach Dan Campbell. He's kind of an everyman. He doesn't come across as super analytical. He is just football guy. And I think it would have been big for the Detroit Lions to like have Dan Campbell on the show. But on the other hand, Pat McAfee did kind of seem like a lover scorned at that point. You know, like that reaction wasn't called for. I don't think it was the worst thing in the world. I don't think it needed more than a full-page apology. But I would have liked to have seen Dan Campbell be on that high of a stage, of a platform. But that has led to something with you and Pat McAfee, which is, hey, that could work out for us.
It has, and let me clear this up. I understand why Pat McAfee was pissed.
Sure,
Listen,
yeah.
If I had a guest on the show and I reached out to them and like I thought we had a good rapport and I got shot down, I'd be throwing a fit too. And I wrote an article about it today. I understand. I've been on the air, live air before, and sometimes get a little carried away. Sometimes you think you're being funny. Sometimes, and next thing you know, you go back and watch it and you're like, oh my God, like that was not my finest moment. I've had those moments, and I think that's what this was for Pat McAfee. So what I did is I went on my Twitter and I thought, you know what, let's try to turn a negative into a positive. This dude's getting crushed by Detroit Twitter.
Yeah.
So let's make him put his money where his mouth is. I said, I don't fault Pat McAfee for being salty. I'd be pissed too. That said, if you aren't on the bus, you're getting run over by it. Ooh. He went against the family so he can deal with the consequences of going against the family. I said, Pat, you want to place a friendly wager? Lions win. You do a show anywhere in Detroit. Lions lose. I'll wear an Aaron Rodgers jersey for a year.
Man, and if the Lions lose, you get the shorter end of the deal, I would say. I cannot imagine you in an Aaron Rodgers jersey for a year. You hate that man with the fire of 1,000 suns.
And that's what I don't think he understands the depth of this, what it means to me.
I certainly do.
People around here do, but Pat McAfee responded, said, yep, we will raise money for a charity of TJ Lang's choice. TJ Lang, friend of the network, so got no problem with that. And this was the guy that really called him out. Depressed DETN. He said, we'll be a part of that show that evening as well, ? And I don't know if he was baiting him to try to get him involved, but it looks like Pat McAfee, when the Lions win on Sunday, he's going to be doing a show in Detroit, and it's because Woodward Sports put his ass on the spot.
And good on you, Stick, because the thing about take a bow, Stick, for that, because the thing about Pat McAfee is when it happened, we all know that Lions Twitter is ruthless. In Detroit as a city, we can talk about our city, we can talk about our team, we can talk about our coach, but don't let anybody else do it. And Pat McAfee, I think some Detroit Lions fans and Lions Twitter kind of saw him as being sort of like this uppity elitist that was just like, lording down on the Lions. Like, how dare those Lions disrespect me, the great Pat McAfee.
It was a little, moment. It showed a little bit of ego, but I've said this a million times. You have to have a little bit of ego to step on a mic in front of a live camera.
Oh, 100%.
It's just we got to see a little bit behind the curtain with Pat.
He's got one of the most popular podcasts in the country.
Yeah.
I mean, FanDuel is paying him, one of those betting agents are paying him multi-million dollars to hawk their product. I mean, the guy knows what he's doing. The guy is really good on the air, and he does a great show if you like that kind of shtick. And he's just called the Lions PR guys out. I mean, you can find 10 minutes in your day to go on.
Listen, if Dan Campbell already has his schedule set and you say, can I get Dan Campbell at 12:30? And they're like, no, he's got a defensive coordinator meeting. I don't blame Lions PR for shooting down. I also don't blame Pat McAfee for being like, that's my guy. I wanted to, I get both sides. But at the end of the day, this is a professional. Maz, how many interviews do you get shot down for a week?
Oh, plenty.
Exactly.
Plenty.
And we're not sitting up here crying.
No, it does. It pisses me off, though. It sticks in my craw.
It sticks in my craw.
It does. It does. I don't quit, though. I'll hit him back another time. I always leave. If the person tells me no, I'll always say, okay, great, I understand. Hopefully another time. And they'll write me back, sure. I always leave it on a good note. And he left it on a good note with his apology.
Yeah, it was awesome to see Detroit Twitter flex on him and kind of back him into a corner for an apology. Because whether he likes it or not, he better mend that relationship because the NFL draft's going to be here in a couple years. And I'm assuming they're going to want to be here. And you don't want to come into Detroit and not have the fans behind you.
Did you see the gift box the Lions sent Evan Fox?
Foxy? Yeah, it was awesome.
They sent him $1,000 worth of gear.
Yep.
I was so jealous when this kid is old. I'm like, this kid's not a Lions fan. I mean, he's a Lions fan for the last couple years of his life.
CJ Snyder in the WoodwardSports.com chat. Stick is going to wear it every day. I don't know about that. I smell a Juicy Jeff 2.0. Put the camera right on me. When I say I'm going to do something, I do it. There is no ifs, ands, or buts. If the Lions lose this game, I will put on an Aaron Rodgers jersey every single day. I will tweet out a picture every single day of me in that stupid, ugly-ass number 12 with the... I hate Aaron Rodgers, but I understood. Listen, if I was
White or green?
Huh?
White or green?
Probably the green one. Just because at least it's Woodward Sports colors.
I didn't think that I could want the Lions to win this game anymore because obviously it could give them a winning season. It could potentially put them in the playoffs if Baker Mayfield and the Rams help us out. But for your sake, I mean, we all have our athletes that we don't like. And Aaron Rodgers, to me, I've never seen you spew more hate about a single athlete than Aaron Rodgers. For your sake, I don't want you to have to wear that jersey. It would pain me because I know how much it would pain you.
Yeah, well, if you want to watch my agony of watching this game Sunday night.
Oh, yes.
Normally we do the post games for away games from here, but we're setting up my basement with the camera, having a couple guys over from Woodward Sports. We're going to live stream us watching the whole game, and then Anson and I will do the post game from my basement on Sunday.
Oh, I can't wait for that.
So you guys are all invited. I got a bar in my basement. Anything can go. It'll be a good time.
What are you serving?
What liquor wise or food wise?
What kind of food you got?
I mean, maybe we should call the Lobster Food Truck. We definitely should call Chubby Charlie's. Maybe have Big Boy bring some of that home style food. I could go for some potato pancakes. I mean, we got lots of people we can call for food. So yeah, come on through. Sunday's gonna be fun. We're gonna be, and if you can't make it over to the basement, watch along with us. It'll be fun. It'll be like watching the game with us live. Adam's coming. I think Easy's coming. A bunch of people. So come on over. And yeah, you're gonna. If it comes down to a one last second play and the Lions win and I don't have to wear an Aaron Rodgers jersey for a year, expect me to just go nuts in my house. And you know who will see it all? Because I got Guardian Alarm.
Hey.
The people monitoring my house. Because that's what they do 24/7. They will monitor your house even when you're gone, so you got eyes on the place and you can feel safe. They offer this for you and for everybody. They are your local security experts. Been in the business for about 100 years and kept up with the technology and led along the way. Guardian Alarm. Call 1-800 Stay out. Aaron Rodgers. Call 1-800 Stay out right now and tell them Woodward Sports sent you.
The sports marketing agency would not be who we are without great community partners like Higuera Health and Carol Zaniga.
It's an awesome opportunity to partner with your organization. Higuera Health is a comprehensive behavioral health organization. We serve children through older adults with mental health, substance use, and developmental disabilities across Western Wayne counties, and really excited to now be in Downriver communities as well. Give us a call at 734-458-4601.
3 NBA championships. Detroit fans were there. 11 Stanley Cups. Detroit fans were there. 4 World Series wins. Detroit fans were there. And that one Lions playoff win in 1991? Yeah, Detroit fans were there. Woodward Sports, where the fans are.
Wintertime in Detroit is always better with comfort foods from Big Boy. How about that classic meatloaf or the Cajun chicken Alfredo? That sounds great, but if you're into breakfast, you heard Stick. He wants those potato pancakes. They are back. So is the Lumberjack, the Santa Fe Garden, and the Blockbuster. Ask for them all at your local Big Boy.
Big Boy. Those aren't the norm, and when those happen, they hit you. They hit you hard. You know, it's reality hits you. You don't think of those, but there is that real rare chance something can happen, and it does. It's a shot of reality.
And that's Dan Campbell during his press conference this morning. And Dan had a lot to say this morning. He's really focused on the game. He's really focused on the magnitude of the playoffs. He's really focused on the big stage of the game. And just when special events like this happen, and you can tell, what I love about Dan Campbell this week, a lot of coaches would come on and say, yeah, this is just another game on the schedule. We're not looking to next week. No, we're not treating this any different than we would any other week. Dan Campbell is putting pressure on his players.
As he should. Even Dan Campbell, in his wildest dreams when they were 1-6, could have never expected that they would be 8-8 with a potential to go to Lambeau Field, win a game, and if the Rams help us out, make the playoffs. And Dan Campbell obviously understands the magnitude of it. He appreciates the moment that they're in, that he's going to make it so that it's not too big for the Detroit Lions. But this is the biggest Lions game in how many years?
I mean, at least 6.
Absolutely.
At least 6.
Yeah, and to go into Lambeau with the potential to slay the dragon, which is Aaron Rodgers, and save Stick from having to wear his jersey for a year. I mean, how sweet would that be if it actually happened? I can't even imagine.
Especially now that I got skin in the game.
Yes.
And, I'm not a gambling man. Like, no. I don't bet. That's not what I do. I enjoy sports already. I don't need to put money on them to get me excited. Like, I'm stressed out watching the Lions as is, and now that there's something on the line, my palms are already sweating.
I'm probably gonna if I can make it, I'm definitely gonna have to go to that live stream party just so hell, I'm a pretty good therapist. I'm a pretty good listener if you need to cry on my shoulder if it happens. But it's not gonna happen because the Lions can go into Green Bay and win. They absolutely can. This is not the same old Packers teams of even the last 3 years. This is a team that is beatable, and the Lions have been playing some of the best football in the NFL over the past 9 weeks. I mean, they're in the midst of a 7-2 stretch.
The Packers are on a pretty good run right now,
yes,
too.
I'm
not going to acknowledge that, but their run has come against some subpar teams, aside from last week, obviously, taking care of the Minnesota Vikings, who I think we all agree was fraudulent.
They were, of course, fraudulent, but still, going from 4-8 to 8-8, I mean, they were just as dead in the water as the Lions were. So just the fact that these two NFC North teams have sort of crawled out of the basement, and now the Packers, they win, they're in. The Lions, they could potentially be win in. And at the very least, they could be win and triple your win total from last year and have a winning record. I mean, right now, would it be a big deal for the Lions just to have a winning record for some team in Detroit where it seems like they're all in perpetual rebuilding to have a winning record regardless?
It's pretty amazing. Maz, what do you think about Dan Campbell and his tone this week so far with the team? Do you think he should be downplaying it, or do you like this aggressive...
He's Dan Campbell.
Yeah.
He doesn't change. Week to week, he's the same guy. Obviously, in the beginning of the year, during the 1-6 stretch, he was down. He was moving his hat around. He was depressed, just like we all were. Then he made the move with Aubrey Pleasant. Also, not an easy move. And they're a new team since then. He has got them exactly where they should be. 3 wins last year. Like we said, could have won 7 or 8 last year. You saw those tight games. They're winning those games this year. All they got to do is stay out of their own way. Don't make the mistakes. Jared Goff, keep playing like you're playing. DeAndre Swift is the DeAndre Swift that they drafted. Right now, he looks like he's the healthiest guy, the healthiest he's been in 2 years. Keep feeding him the ball and keep doing what you're doing, Dan Campbell. This team responds to you. They like the way you coach. The coaching staff that you have here in Detroit, all players, they've all been there. This is the first time for these young guys. You got them ready. I know they're going to be ready for Sunday Night Football. I just wish it would have been played at the same time the Seattle game was going on. That's my only thing that bothers me. I just hate that you could do all this work, and then if Seattle wins, it's got to take the starch out of you a little bit. It has to. I don't care what anyone says. We're all human, and when you don't have that ring to go for, you're going to be missing a little bit. Yeah, you want to knock Aaron Rodgers out of the playoffs, but you really wanted a chance to play in the postseason.
I mean, at least you know, though, and I think we would all agree in this room that a Dan Campbell coach team is going to be ready to play no matter what. They had to be ready. I mean, they could have quit on them after they were 1-6. I think in previous regimes, the Lions would have quit, but they didn't. They were able to sort of rise up, go 7-2, put themselves in this position. And I think that Dan Campbell will have them ready no matter what. He'll certainly have them ready if they have a chance at the playoffs. My goodness, I can't even remember the last time so much was on the line in a regular season game. It's crazy. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, well, one thing that I think should concern everybody, but I'm also in the belief that the longer the streak goes, the closer it is to coming to an end, no matter how long that streak is. The Packers in December and January under Aaron Rodgers and Peter LaFleur. That's from Dodgeball, for anybody who hasn't seen Dodgeball, because now I assume even movies that I think people have seen. But either way, I digress.
I haven't seen that either.
They are 18-1 in December and January. 18-1.
That is incredible.
That is incredible because, I mean, as you know, NFL season, long season. A lot can happen by the end of it, and that to always be playing for something and playing well during that time, that's what you hope the Lions get to, correct?
Oh, absolutely. It's correct. I mean, and the Lions have had a pretty damn good December themselves this year.
And November.
Absolutely.
Yep.
And with Green Bay, it makes sense that they have an 18-1 record in December under LaFleur and Rodgers. The previous 3 years, they were a 13-win team each year. One of the best regular season teams in the NFL over the past 3 years, maybe the best. But this year, they were 4-8. They were down. There was no chance. And the fact that they have kind of pulled themselves up by their bootstraps and changed 4-8 into 8-8.
It is amazing.
It is amazing. There is something to the fact that they are a December team. When everything is on the line, at least in the regular season, they've tended to respond, and they did again this year.
Well, and that's when the benefit of playing at Lambeau Field actually helps.
Man. I mean, the NFL did them a favor. Hey, we'll let you play your two division foes at home on the last 2 weeks of the year.
Yeah.
That's a huge advantage.
A major advantage. And Aaron Rodgers alluded to that 2 weeks ago. He said, there's two dome teams coming in here in the next 2 weeks. And, shut up, Aaron Rodgers. Like, we know where the hell we play.
He's spitting the truth.
Yeah, but he's like Captain Obvious. I mean, that's
okay. What they did to a 13-win or is a 12-win Viking team. 12 or 13.
I don't know.
What they did to that team.
What we did to them.
They emasculated them. Last week on national television. They absolutely took them to the woodshed. That's the only thing I'm worried about as a Lion fan. They seem to be peaking right now. The running game looks great again. Aaron Jones looks like he's Aaron Jones again. Just like I talked about our guy, DeAndre Swift, Aaron Jones. The running game is what makes the Packers go. And it's been really null and void this year. The defense, supposed to be a top 3 defense. Now they're rounding into form. And they're playing at home. Jeremy, check the weather for Sunday.
It's supposed to be 27 degrees.
That's a break.
27 degrees,
we'll
potential rain.
Okay, maybe we catch a break. It's dry and 30 degrees.
But you saw what happened in Carolina when it was 30 degrees. Not so much.
Not so much.
But the one thing the Lions do have going for them is how the rookies have been playing, especially if we want to talk about putting pressure on Aaron Rodgers. The rookie sack leaders for the Detroit Lions, absolutely insane. You look at this stat. James Houston with 8 in 6 games. 8 in 6 games. Aiden Hutchinson, 7.5. And then, everybody else doesn't really matter. But those two bookends, and you saw it last game against the Packers.
Yeah.
Where, to me, it may have turned the season around, that interception by Aiden Hutchinson at the goal line. And not only the interception at the goal line, falling into the end zone so they get the ball on the 20 and don't have to worry. Like, to me, that's such a big part of that play that people leave out. But James Houston, you saw him last week against Justin Fields. That one play, he drops back in coverage, and it looked like he had two separate gears, a tracking gear and then a killing gear. Like, track, boom, got your ass. And, like, I'm excited to see what these two can do against Aaron Rodgers, because you talked about the run game picking up. That has come along with, actually, Aaron Rodgers trusting his receivers, a Christian Watson, a Romeo Doubs. Those guys, Randall Cobb has helped out. And that's kind of pushed the defense into covering more, and that opens up the run game, obviously. But with those defensive pressures on the ends, I don't think they've seen something like this in a while. And actually, the league's never seen something like this out of two rookies.
No, this is the best rookie class I've ever seen for the Detroit Lions. The fact that James Houston, playing 6 games, has 8 sacks already. Aiden Hutchinson has 7.5 plus 3 interceptions. And guess who else showed up last week? A little guy by the name of Josh Pascal. He had a couple sacks himself. So between the 3 of them, they have 17.5 sacks on the season. That is absolutely incredible. And wouldn't it just be great if one or both of them, or all 3 of them, were able to get consistent pressure on Aaron Rodgers? Maybe Aiden Hutchinson gets that sack on Aaron Rodgers, a big sack that could maybe on a 3rd down. This would be a game on Sunday Night Football with everything on the line to really showcase this rookie class.
Rodrigo as well.
Rodrigo, Kirby Joseph. I mean, This has been an incredible rookie class, especially on the defense, which on the year hasn't been great by the numbers, but has improved in this late game stretch, the 7-2 stretch. Their defense has been playing well, and they're going to need it against Green Bay, particularly the pass rush. But this is setting up to be a really good defensive line for a long time. It already, by the numbers, it already is this year.
Yeah. That's something. Go ahead, Maz.
Adam was comparing it this morning to, it's as close to as we've ever gotten to that line in 2014 with Ndamukong Suh and those guys. And that was an unbelievable defensive line. But these young kids, if they keep progressing like they are, and you add more to it coming up in this draft, or get a free agent, man, you really, I've never been so excited, looking forward to a team like this. Finally, we got a team that's peaking at the right time and gonna only get better.
And guess
what?
Only
get better.
And guess what? John Kaminsky has also been a big factor. Romeo and Julian Okwara, when they have played, have made plays as well. This is a defensive line that, especially when it comes to edge rushers, that has been good, has been great as of late, and they're also deep. And just to say that the Lions could potentially, moving forward, have an elite unit on the defense, by the rookies' numbers, it's a few years away from happening, but this year they've made such improvements towards the end of the year. Next year, I could see them having a defense that could be like along with that offense, be like a division leader. And this is the week, this is the game to really show that off. And I think they can hold the Aaron Rodgers-led Packers to between 17 and 24 points. And I think that would be enough to win, especially with the Lions offense that they have.
A guy that name keeps getting left out of this conversation, but I keep hearing Dan Campbell bring up over and over, is Bugs.
Oh, absolutely.
He doesn't get 100%. He doesn't get a lot of stats. Yeah. He's not putting up big numbers, but he is doing his job and occupying, if not 1-2 linemen, controlling his gap. And every time you hear Dan Campbell talk about the defensive line, he's like, he says the praise Aiden Hutchinson and Bugs, and he just kind of throws it in there every single time when he's talking about this defensive line.
Bugs is just another one of those players, a guy that coming into the year I didn't expect anything from, but has been a valuable contributor. Like you said, just another one of those sort of low-risk free agent signings to go along with a guy like DJ Chark and Deshaun Elliott. Isaiah Bugs has been pretty much as valuable as both of them.
I believe so too.
I honestly think for what we expected from him, Isaiah Bugs has been, dare I say, a revelation.
I can't argue with that.
I
cannot argue with that, and I like to argue. Custom Health, another thing you can't argue about. When you lose weight, you feel better. It's easier on your knees. It's easier on your joints. You look better naked. You feel better naked, and, that's pretty much all we want in life. And Custom Health Center, they are the ones that can deliver it to you. Ryan Ermanni can attest to that when he gets back from vacation next week, because he's already down about 20 pounds, and it didn't take him long at all with the Custom Health Center system. So call 844-789-8446. That's 844-789-8446 today and get your custom health. We here at Woodward Sports would like to thank everybody who helped us stuff our studio. The third annual Stuff a Studio was a major success, thanks in part to our partners at Guardian Alarm and Meyer Stores for making it all possible. And of course, we couldn't do it without our community leaders and viewers like you. Thank you for dropping off toys to our studio that were taken to the Mott Children's Hospital in Ann Arbor so every sick child could have a happy holiday.
We are incredibly grateful for Woodward Sports, Guardian Alarm, and Meyer for making the holidays so special for our patients and families.
So what we do is try to bring some normalcy to their lives at this time. This is a labor of love. It brings so much joy, and not just for the families and for the children, but for our staff.
Thank you.
You don't have to go to the beach, man. You don't have to get your butt crack full of sand. You just need a little chili peppers, man, to get that glowing beach chili peppers tan. Woo!
With 26 locations in the Metro Detroit area and more coming, Chili Peppers Tanning is where you'll find the cleanest salons in the D. Join the Pepper Club for the best deals on unlimited tanning. Head to chilipepperstanning.com.
You just need a little chili peppers, man.
The only sports network in Detroit that starts with a W. You know, because we win. Woodward Sports, Detroit's winning sports network.
Hey guys, it's Maz for Cousins Maine Lobster and CousinsMaineLobster.com. Woodward Sports. Oh, we're brought to you by Cousins Maine Lobster. Check out their food trucks going out, making it around the city. The tastiest lobster rolls, lobster tacos, and more. Go to CousinsMaineLobster.com. Search for locations right now and download that schedule and their app as well. And check them out. It is delicious. CousinsMaineLobster.com.
Welcome back to WoodwardSports.com and Fox2Detroit.com. Thank you to everybody that's in the chat today. We appreciate you. Lots of stuff going on, especially Lions talk going into an almost play-in game on Sunday night. So we'll find out after Seattle loses, hopefully. Fingers crossed on that.
They're giving 6 points, by the way,
to Seattle?
To the Rams. No, the Rams are underdogs.
Oh, yeah.
Seattle's home, 12th man. They're going to be fighting for a playoff spot. They're going to be ready to go. The Rams are going to really have to play over their heads to win this game. They played them tough the first time, but Seattle's home this time. It's going to be a tough one, man.
So you're telling me there's a chance?
There's a chance. Hey, Kelly Stafford's on our side.
Is she?
Did you see her tweet?
I did not see Kelly Stafford's
her
tweet.
Instagram. This is Kelly Stafford's Instagram. Check it out.
The Detroit Rams.
She wants him. She wants him. Maybe Matthew Stafford could sit down with Baker and come up with a good game plan here. I doubt it, though.
I'm not sure what to think of this because it's not like she's like, go Lions. She's saying the Detroit Rams, and I still hate that from last year.
I understand, but that's her way of saying go Lions.
No, I love Kelly. She was a good friend of the network when we first got started. Stuff a studio the first year. Kelly Stafford rolled through with her own U-Haul truck filled with TVs, bikes. Kelly Stafford, and whether you guys like Kelly Stafford or not, that's the type of wife you want. She is ride or die for Matthew.
Hey, and I know all about ride or die wives myself, and Kelly Stafford is certainly one of them.
You never miss an opportunity, do you, Sam? I hope you play these clips back for your wife.
You know I will.
What were you saying about Kelly? Sorry to interrupt you.
No, just that I don't know really what to think of this. I kind of think it's a big nothing burger. But, the Rams, the one thing that I don't know if we talk about enough with regards to why they can go into Seattle and win is, you see how your boy Cam Akers has been playing lately? That running game, that running game has been explosive the past 3 games. And Baker Mayfield, despite how much I dislike him, he's better than whatever the hell backup they had before Baker Mayfield was there. He is an upgrade. I do feel more confident that the Rams can win that game with Baker Mayfield and with, what was it, John Wolford or whatever his name was, with Cam Akers running the ball well, with that defense that still has a lot of talented pieces. So it doesn't look good for the Lions, but because the Seahawks obviously have a lot on the line and the Rams don't, But I wouldn't be shocked at all if the Rams went in and pulled the upset. This Seattle Seahawks team, they've been playing a little bit over their head this year.
The key to me, obviously, outside of Baker Mayfield, is one only Cam Akers. And honestly, over the past 2 weeks, he's become what we all thought Cam Akers was going to be coming out of Florida State. And if they can control the clock, they can keep them off the field, I think the Rams have a chance. And Baker Mayfield, you got one shot, baby. This is Baker Mayfield's audition tape, honestly, for next year, for the Rams potentially, but also around the league. Can you go into a pressure situation where the other team must win on the road, leading a team that's down, and keep them on track and get this W? If Baker Mayfield does that, he'll get another starting quarterback contract next year. Maz?
I think he's going to be a Ram, to be perfectly honest. I think he stays in L.A., back up Matthew Stafford till Stafford retires, and I think you'll probably see something next year. I don't think Matthew Stafford is healthy enough right now. We all root for him. He won a Super Bowl. I don't want to see anything happen to him. But I think Baker's in a great spot there if Sean McVay stays the head coach with the Rams. So, yeah, he's been playing pretty good. Not great, but pretty good.
He's been playing like Baker Mayfield.
Yeah, well.
Yeah, I mean, that's what he is.
Again, I will say they don't have a lot to work with right now. They have everybody out. The offensive line is in shambles. They don't have a great wide receiver right now. Cam Akers, a guy they didn't want for almost a year and a half, is now starting to play better. So he's got what he's got, and he's playing the best he can with what he's got. That's it.
Well, Maz, you want to go around the NFL and talk about a couple more games?
Of course.
Go ahead. Lead us, baby.
I'm all for it. Let's go. Let's show you Week 16's preview here, Week 18's preview. This is the final week of the season, and there are some great matchups in this. Stick, why don't you go over a couple of them with me?
Kansas City and, of course, Las Vegas.
Now, Kansas City can lock up home field advantage with a win there.
I love the Tennessee-Jacksonville matchup. That is going to be fun to watch.
That's a Saturday night game.
Yep.
Saturday night, the winner of that game wins the division. I think everybody is rooting for Jacksonville. That's another great story. Think about that. Jacksonville picked number 1. The Lions picked number 2 this past April. And they both have a chance to go to the playoffs. Jacksonville can win their division. Tennessee's obviously, they're shot. They have Joshua Dobbs, former Lions practice squad quarterback, is starting. Malik Willis is not ready. And that's just the way it is. I don't think Tennessee's got a shot in Hades. I think they've lost 7 or 8 in a row.
Yeah, no, I'm really big on wanting the Jacksonville Jaguars to win that game because coming out of the draft, I was a big Trevor Lawrence guy, as were a lot of people. But last year with that Urban Meyer coach system, he didn't have a good rookie year. And most rookies who have that bad of a rookie year, it's a sign of something. And a lot of people were doubting him, but this season, to me, he has shown that he is generational. He is a future top 5, 3, maybe best quarterback in the league type player. And I would love to see the Jacksonville Jaguars in the playoffs over the Josh Dobbs-led Tennessee Titans. The only player on that team that's exciting is Derrick Henry. Other than that, they're an eyesore.
Probably won't play.
Give me Jacksonville.
Probably
please.
Won't play in that game. And remember last year, Tennessee had the best record in the AFC, and they went out in the first round. So they're not a real exciting team to watch. They trade A.J. Brown, which is still, I'm scratching my head about that
Got
one.
the GM fired.
Yeah, they sure did.
Not the move you want to make. The other game, the next game on this list that I love is the Baltimore Ravens versus the Bengals. And it's going to be interesting to see what happens with the Bengals and the Bills, right? This coming up this weekend.
Bills host the Patriots. These are like playoff games. Patriots need to win to get in. And that other game, Baltimore and Cincinnati, had Cincinnati lost to Buffalo on Monday night, this would have been for the AFC South title. Right now, if it sits the way it is and they don't play that game, Baltimore cannot catch Cincinnati. Cincinnati playing for home field, the 2 seed, maybe the 3 seed, but it looks like Kansas City's going to have that all locked up. Baltimore, I mean, they're not the same, guys, without Lamar Jackson. Let's face it, they cannot win without Lamar Jackson.
I think he may be playing this week. He's been out 4 weeks. I think
so,
December 4th was his last game,
Yeah,
so it's been about a month. He should be back.
I don't think he's playing. I really believe his injury is a lot worse than they said it was.
Well, then if that's the case, the Ravens are screwed. You saw what they, saw what they looked like with Tyler Huntley. He was kind of a cute story last year, but you see that he's very, very limited. All he is a backup.
He's one of those scenarios that he does well for the first couple games, and it's on tape, and now you know how to beat him.
No, he's
like,
been...
He runs, he doesn't pass.
Right.
Yep.
If his first guy is covered, he's running for his life.
And then you
That's
got
just the way
the
it
Dallas
is.
Cowboys versus the Washington Commanders. And
This game is
new
strictly for
quarterback,
home field.
Sam Howell
Sam
getting the
Howell,
start. The guy
fifth-round pick out of Carolina.
I didn't mind Sam Howell coming out in the draft. I wouldn't mind if the Lions reached for him
Hey,
last year.
fifth-round pick?
Yeah.
I hope he does well. I'd like to see the kid do well. We'll see how that one rolls. But Dallas just playing for home field. Washington is done. I think this will be the last game for Ron Rivera. I think he will be let go after this season. And Washington obviously going to be sold here pretty soon. I think by next year you'll have a new owner and you'll have a new coach.
Well, and from the Dallas angle, they have a chance to still win their division. I know it's a very small chance, but this Cowboys team, I think ever since they got your boy Maz, Micah Parsons, they're not the same old Cowboys. That's kind of that generational sort of superstar defensive player that could put them over the top. And if they win that division, I think they're a dangerous team. So it is a big game for the Cowboys, but I do think the Eagles will take care of business.
The Eagles are 14.5-point favorites over the Giants, who have nothing to play for.
They have nothing. They can't move up.
But the Giants are in that position to where, do you want to lose momentum going into the playoffs, right? Like, this is the time of year where it gets really interesting to see what coaches do. Because if you've already locked in your spot, do you want to give guys time off or do you want to keep them in rhythm? How's your team trending? Like, if I was the Lions right now, and the position was already locked up, but you've gone 8-2, I wouldn't want to just throw away a game because you don't know if you're going to get that magic back.
That is true, but the Giants, even though they're a playoff team, I wouldn't consider them necessarily in rhythm. They started out 7-2 and have kind of backed their way in. But they did enough. Credit to them. They won the games that they had to win, but I don't know. I wouldn't judge Brian Daboll either way if he rested or played them, but they are a young team.
I just always find that psychologically super interesting to see what coaches do because I've seen teams on hot streaks take a rest and then they can't find it again.
Yes.
Right. I've seen teams that are, struggling, but then they play that last game and something clicks again, and next thing you know, they're rolling into the playoffs. It's really hindsight's 20/20. There's no way to predict which way it's going to go. But if I'm the coach, I'm going to keep my starters in and maybe treat it like the third preseason game. You're going to play the first half. We're going to go all out. We're not going to try not to get hurt because that's when you get hurt. Just play it like a regular hardcore game for at least a half to keep your team in rhythm.
Vikings play at the Bears, and the Niners host the Cardinals. Both these teams with 12 wins. The winner of those two games, if the Vikings win, they should. But it's at the Bears. Matter of fact, they're playing Nate Sudfeld as their quarterback. That's going to be their quarterback. I am correct on Nate Sudfeld.
I think it's Tim Boyle.
No, it's not Tim Boyle. It's whoever the backup is right now for the Bears, because Justin Fields is out with a hip injury.
Or is it Nathan Peterman?
It's Peterman. That's who it is. Peterman is the start. And then San Francisco hosts the Cardinals. If the Niners win and the Vikings win, who gets the 2 seed?
That I don't know.
Because that's who will play the Lions if they get in.
Well, the Lions better pray to God that it's the Minnesota Vikings because the Vikings they're the most fraudulent 12-win team I've ever seen. They have a minus 19-point differential, and that 49ers defense led by Nick Bosa and Fred Warner, the Lions, that's the one of the 2 or 3 teams that I think are clearly better than them in the NFC. I don't want any part of the San Francisco 49ers.
They haven't lost since they got CMC.
What an addition that has been.
Yeah.
Just another weapon on that offense for Kyle Shanahan. Just another shiny little toy. He's like the master sort of Frankenstein in this 49ers offense with Deebo Samuel and Christian McCaffrey, George Kittle, Brandon Ayuk. That's his monster.
Ayuk is flying these last few games without Deebo in there.
Well, that's what he was brought in to be.
Yeah. He's really showing out. That's basically your best games of the week. And then, of course, you got Seattle. They're home playing against the Rams and the Packers and the Lions.
All right, well, that is your
That's
around.
a hell of a Week 18.
Yeah, that is your around the NFL. Love that there's Saturday games. There's not a Thursday game tonight, is there?
No,
that's done. Damn it,
that's done.
I hate when they stop Thursday night football. But Sam,
Thursday.
Huh?
Why would that be tonight? That's what today's Wednesday.
I don't need you to fact check me. No,
I'll fact check you.
That's probably why they're not playing Thursday Night Football on a Wednesday. Flannel Sam, tell us about Swiss Insurance.
Swiss Insurance, of course. Be sure to check with Swiss Insurance this week for your commercial insurance review. Many businesses choose a January 1st effective date. Swiss can help make sure you have the proper coverage. Swiss Insurance, give us a shot and you won't be disappointed. Or you can email them at mark@swissins.com. Again, that is mark@swissins.com.
Introducing the Planet Fitness Guide to getting that post-workout glow. Step 1. What's your why? More epic energy? Better sleep? Blow off steam? Step 2. Join Planet Fitness for just $10 a month and get moving in our clean and spacious clubs. Step 3. Bask in that post-workout glow. Join Planet Fitness today for just $10 a month.
Join today at any of the 50-plus Detroit area locations.
What's a winter wonderland if you can't shop, eat, and play? Lucky for you, you can do it all at the Downtown Detroit Markets, Cadillac Lodge, and the new winter version of the Monroe Street Midway, all located just across the street from Campus Martius Park. Find the fun at deckedoutdetroit.com.
Woodward Avenue, the first paved road in America. Woodward Sports, the first sports network born in Detroit and made for Detroit.
Matrix Home Solution is your go-to for any home project. Looking for a new man cave? Well, Matrix Home Solutions has you covered. They are the basement remodel experts. They also specialize in bathrooms and kitchens as well. With their A+ rating by the Better Business Bureau, why don't you give Matrix Home Solutions a try? Call them today at 888-594-8844, or you can always check them out online at matrixhomesolutions.com.
Welcome back to WoodwardSports.com and Fox2Detroit.com. This is the Ermanni and Edwards with Maz show. My name is Stick, filling in for Ryan Ermanni. That is Flannel Sam, filling in for Braylon Edwards. Tom Mazawey in the big comfy chair you just heard from JB. And, of course, Fletch is here letting us know what day of the week it is. We appreciate him for that. Thank you, Fletch. Joined right now by Tom VanHaaren, ESPN reporter covering college football, recruiting, golf, and sports business. And look at this. It's from Central Michigan University,
That's right. And author of Doing It My Way with Braylon Edwards.
Nice.
How about that?
And Central Michigan just beat Michigan in basketball.
How about that?
Michigan followed it up with an 81-46 victory over Maryland in their conference home opener. Way to respond, Hunter Dickinson. My man.
Hi, Tom. Happy New Year.
Hey, Happy New Year. How are you guys?
We're doing good, man. We're still not recovered, though, from a New Year's Eve. What'd you think of that game, T? But before we even get to Ohio State, what'd you think of the Michigan game? Just your thoughts on how it all came about.
Well, I was talking to somebody else on the radio earlier today that I think a lot of people probably hadn't watched TCU nationally, so I think a lot of people probably didn't know what to expect. But you're looking at a quarterback who was a Heisman finalist, a guy that really started as the backup, won the job over. Played himself into the Heisman race, and then was there in New York as a finalist. So that was a really, really good TCU team. And I know a lot of people going into that expected Michigan to win, but a lot of the same strengths Michigan had, TCU has as well. So I wasn't really surprised is probably not the right word. I think I predicted that Michigan would come out on top, but TCU is a good team, and I expected that it would be a close game. But yeah, it's another one of those things. Michigan's going to have to go back to the drawing board.
What do you think the deal is here now? Harbaugh's lost his last 6 bowl games. I mean, last year they were the weaker team. Georgia was the better team. This year, I really think they let this one go. What happened to the defense? Giving up 80 yards of rushing. They give up 300 yards on the ground at TCU. I mean, 51 points. I was just shocked about how that happened.
TCU's got a lot of speed. Their running back, Kendrick Miller, he's a really good player. And I think what surprised me the most was probably up front on both sides. For Michigan, they were pushed around a little bit from TCU's offensive line. And then really Michigan's offensive line, I didn't see as much push up front from them that we had all season. And so I think that's really where for me at least, when I was watching the game, that was the big surprise to me. I thought there would probably be more from Michigan's offensive line. And then TCU, like I said, I think up front for them is they had the bigger push. They had the bigger push from their line that it worked.
Now we're joined by Tom VanHaaren right now on WoodwardSports.com. You brought up Jim Harbaugh, and it seems like the annual question about this time of year. Jim Harbaugh, do you see him moving on from NCAA football and going back to the pros? Anything trickling down?
Not yet. We've been talking to people around the Michigan program, and everybody has said to us it's business as usual. They have not heard anything anything specific yet in terms of what he's going to do. And I look back to when he was interviewing with Minnesota and when he was going through the process with the Vikings. And a quote that I had heard from somebody around Jim Harbaugh was that it seemed like he still has an itch to scratch with winning the Super Bowl. And that was something that stood out to me, that winning the Super Bowl was something that he had still thought about. And so you look back again at that time, he was not offered the job at Minnesota. He stayed at Michigan. And so I think this time around, that's the main factor for me is a program has to come, an NFL program has to come forward and actually offer him a position. Without that, there's nothing really for me to report. I don't think he's actively going out and seeking an NFL job, but if someone like the Carolina Panthers were to come through and offer him a position, I do think it's a serious thing. I do think there is the potential that he could leave. So once that offer comes through, that's when everything really is going to get set into motion. That's when we'll know for sure if he's going to leave, because in the past there really hasn't been a ton of NFL interest. Now he's been to the college football playoff twice. He's won the Big Ten twice. I think there's a lot more appeal this time around for Jim Harbaugh and NFL programs. So I think it is a serious thing. I think there are, where there's smoke, there's fire, but there's nothing definitive yet, and we don't know which way he's leaning. And as usual, he tends to keep everything pretty close to the vest.
Yeah, he definitely is a wild card, to say the least. And he said he's got an itch about getting back to the Super Bowl. Don't you think he's got an itch about what has happened the last 2 times he's entered the college football playoffs at this point? Like, don't you think that kind of sits in the back of his brain?
Yeah, absolutely. He's a competitor. He wants to win at the highest level. But, you also look at how difficult it is to win the national championship and where Michigan is at compared to some programs like Georgia and Alabama in recruiting and in NIL and the way that teams are built now. His livelihood has been made in the NFL throughout his career. I know he's had a ton of success at Stanford. He had a ton of success at San Diego as well. But having that Super Bowl, I think, is the pinnacle for him and his career. That's really, when I talked to a source around him, that was really the biggest thing that came up.
So nobody took this Michigan loss harder at the network than I myself. I still am licking my wounds and I'm depressed about it. But let's talk about the team that actually beat them. Could you see TCU actually going on and beating Georgia and winning the national championship?
I mean, sure, that's why they play. But if I had to put a bet down, I'm going to bet Georgia probably 99% of the time. I think the talent that Georgia has, the experience that they have, I think that factors in. I mean, before that Michigan game, TCU coach Sonny Dykes said the majority of his players had never been in this type of environment. They've never played in a playoff game. They've never been in that really high-stakes game like that, and that matters. So you take Georgia, and a quarterback especially, Stetson Bennett, calm under pressure. He's been there before. He's won at the highest level. That stuff all factors in for me in that game. And then what we talked about with Michigan up front, Georgia's strength is up front, especially along the defensive line. I know Jalen Carter didn't have his best game against Ohio State, but I have to imagine those guys, especially on the defensive side, they're going to be ready, and they're going to show why they were 5 stars and highly sought-after prospects out of high school. So I think at this level, it's a good story. TCU has done a really, really good job getting to this point. But when you're playing someone like Georgia, the way that they're put together, it's really, really difficult to beat a team like that.
Tom VanHaaren, ESPN analyst, college football recruiter, knows his stuff, of course, an author, of course, with Braylon Edwards and his book a few years back. Tommy, this past weekend, That New Year's Eve games, I don't think I've ever seen two better games on a day. To me, that was the greatest day in college football. And then today happens to be 17 years ago that Texas played against USC, which they say is the greatest game in NCAA history. I know it was Keith Jackson's final game, so that means a lot to me. But where would you put these two games that you saw on New Year's Eve?
Yeah, they're pretty high up there for me. I mean, the excitement level, what they brought in terms of, I know Michigan fans were not excited about the outcome, but in terms of what they brought from just the college football game, I was talking about this with someone else. Just the bowl games in general, they've all been exciting.
Yeah.
USC Tulane.
That was awesome.
Down to the wire. As a college football fan, I know. I don't know about you guys, but I have not seen anybody on social media complaining this year that we have too many bowl games.
No.
It's all been exciting. It's all been a great offseason. So they're ranked up there pretty high. I'm excited to see what happens in this national championship game, though. I'm hoping that we get another good game to finish out the season.
Well, kind of switching gears and talking about the Lions, draft picks are coming up, and the one hot topic around here is the quarterback position. Who's going to be available coming out this year for the NFL draft? And I don't want you to talent evaluate Jared Goff, because I was going to say who's going to be better than Jared Goff if they draft somebody. But out of the quarterbacks that will potentially be available around the 7th, 8th, 9th pick, is there an upgrade available for the Detroit Lions?
No, I don't think so, at least. And I love the draft. I follow it closely. I obviously get to see a lot of these players from high school through college and then off to the NFL. And if the Lions are sitting where they're projected to be at right now, if Bryce Young goes in the top 3, I just do not see a quarterback that I think is worth spending a pick that high on for some of the other needs that the Lions have. If there's a big defensive player there, I like Jalen Carter. I like Brian Bresee, the defensive lineman from Clemson. If someone like that is there, then go for them. If there's not anyone there that they really like, I'd love to see them trade back. Maybe someone that does need a quarterback and wants to go after Will Levis or C.J. Stroud. But for me, from what I've seen, I don't think that it's a wise decision to take a quarterback in that slot with who's going to be available.
Well, speaking of quarterbacks like C.J. Stroud and Will Levis, I personally am not a big fan of his. I don't quite see why he's a top 10 prospect. What are your thoughts on Will Levis? Can you change my mind?
No, probably not, because I'm in the same boat. I think he's a really good college player. He's had a really good career for Kentucky, but like I said, I don't see him as a good option for the Lions. And maybe someone that's got a better situation that doesn't need as many pieces can go and try to take a chance on him. But from what I've seen from him, ups and downs, some of the games this season, I know he's dealt with some injuries, but I just don't know that it translates to the NFL. I don't know that it translates for the Lions. It's so hard to play quarterback in the NFL. That is not a knock on Will Levis and who he is. He's a great guy. But in that position, if I'm a GM, I'm not picking him that high.
Tom, last one from me. Let's go back to Harbaugh for a second. How many times do we have to go through this as Michigan fans? Is it worth it? Does this hurt recruiting going forward? Because he's always going to be looked at as an NFL head coach. He wants to beat his brother. His brother knocked him off back in the Super Bowl in New Orleans. Do you think he's staying, and do you think it's good that he stays?
This is one of those, I know I'm supposed to have an opinion, but he's just such a loose cannon. I don't know. I don't know if he's going to stay or not. Like I said, I think if he is offered the right position in the NFL, I think there's a good chance that he might go. But, I saw something different in Jim Harbaugh this season. I will say that. And I asked him about it. What's different about you? You seem happier. You seem different. And he's mentioned that they're on a happy mission, that he's got happy warriors, and people might joke about that, but that's a real thing, that I think he is happy where he's at. He told me that he likes the people that he's surrounded with. He likes the players. Everybody around him, I think, is headed in the right direction. They're on the same page, and I don't know that he's had that his whole time at Michigan. So, does it impact recruiting? I would probably lean towards no, because we've already been through this. We saw it at the highest level last year when he was interviewing with Minnesota, and it didn't really impact things. And we've already seen them sign a full recruiting class. We've seen them bring in quite a few transfers, some good transfers. So it doesn't seem to be impacting things. And I think a big part of that is he's not hiding any of this. Everybody that I've talked to, if they ask him, if recruits or players ask him, he's pretty honest and upfront about what's happening and what's going on. So I don't think it impacts them yet. If he does leave, then whoever takes over and the guy that gets named the next head coach, that could make an impact, obviously. But for right now, I don't think it's a big concern.
Good. Thank you, Tom.
Tom Mazawey can sleep easy tonight now. Thank you for that.
Not really.
Tom VanHaaren joining us. Thank you so much for your time today. We appreciate you. Come back anytime. Talk sports anytime. Just don't big dog us like Dan Campbell and the Lions did to Pat McAfee. Did you see that?
No, I didn't see that.
McAfee went off yesterday because he couldn't get a Dan Campbell interview.
That happens sometimes in media. You got to take your hits, man.
And that's why we were lucky to have you today. So thank you for taking the time.
All right, guys, have a good one.
Have a good one. Sam, why don't you tell us a little bit about SMA?
Absolutely. The sports marketing agency helps spread awareness about mental health and substance abuse. Their new podcast, This is the S Word, helps fight the stigma about seeking help. If you or someone you know is struggling, head to thesportsma.com.
Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on Shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Beverly Hills Golf, Woodward Golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today.
By now you know me, Christina Gennari, as the obvious choice in real estate. And you know my website, soldchristina.com, as your #1 resource for buying or selling your home. Myself, along with my amazing staff, pride ourselves on making your home buying and selling experience a relaxing and easy one. Come see why we are the obvious choice. Christina Gennari at soldchristina.com, the obvious choice in real estate.
When it comes to making your haircut truly an experience, there's no better place than Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Come to any one of our 26 Metro Detroit locations for an award-winning haircut experience and qualify for a chance to win a down payment for your dream home up to $200,000. Our precision haircut and talented stylists will have you looking good, feeling good, and give you a chance to change your life forever. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome.
We are the network for Detroit by Detroiters. Welcome to the Woodward Sports Network.
What's up, everybody? JV here, letting you know about the Monroe
Let 'em know!
Midway. Yeah, the holiday season might be done, but the Midway is still going on strong. Yeah, they got the Arctic Slide, the winter bumper cars, and of course, that indoor arcade where you can try your hand at shooting some hoops or beating up on some supervillains. Whichever you prefer, they have everything down there for you. Now, I must tell you that these games do cost anywhere from 50 cents to $3, but I guarantee you're going to have some fun. But if the games aren't your thing, just go down there and have some food. They are serving up burgers, pierogies, homemade chili, chicken sandwiches, mac and cheese bites, and not to mention, they have gluten and vegan-free options as well, too.
Yeah,
so
hipsters.
Whichever you want, they have it for you. But coming soon, it's the Woodward Sports Winter Olympics. You'll be able to compete with the likes of Darren McCarty, Braylon Edwards, Adam Baydoun, Ryan Ermanni. Maz will be down there as well. Stick is sitting this one out. I'm sorry, Stick. I know you wanted to, but
I just want everybody else to have fun.
I know.
Why are you sitting it out?
Because I want everybody else to have a chance.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's good. Thank you.
Being a fair competitor, but you gotta like that as well too. The heavyweights will also be down there as well as rest of the Woodward Sports family too for the Monroe Street Midway games. Check them out at deckedoutdetroit.com for more fun information on the Monroe Street Midway.
Always a good time.
Enthusiastic coach of the Wolverines in 2023, and for those people that don't approve of the job we've done or would rather see somebody else coaching here, I think they'll be most likely disappointed to learn we'll be back coaching the Wolverines in 2023.
Thank you. That's harsh, baby.
So there it is. Jim Harbaugh planting his flag in the ground. He will be back coaching the Wolverines. So the discussion that we keep having here on this network should be put to bed because we've heard it out of the horse's mouth. But you know, I know, you can't trust a college coach.
No, people
ever.
It's almost as if people have never changed their minds before. I mean, Jim, I hope this is true. I want Jim Harbaugh back as Michigan football's head coach. I think he can still go on to be the greatest coach in school history. And for Michigan, these last 2 seasons was as good of a 2-year stretch Michigan football has ever had.
Ever.
For Michigan. So I want him back. But the thing is, there are some teams, like maybe the Denver Broncos or Carolina Panthers, that might give him an offer that he can't refuse. This is a guy that in the NFL made it to the pinnacle and lost the Super Bowl to his brother. That's gotta like stick in his craw a little bit. So as much as I want to believe him, as much as I think deep down he is committed to Michigan, if a team offers him like a big contract and kind of a lot of control, I could see Jim Harbaugh taking that job. He's proven that he can be a damn good, borderline great NFL coach as well. But it would just be so disappointing to lose a guy like that.
Dave Tepper of Carolina, one of the richest owners in sports, and there's word out there that he has offered double what he was making in college. That would be hard to turn down. And you go live in Carolina.
I don't know. Like I'm not rich like Jim Harbaugh, so I don't know how much money means. You know, like after you got a couple million in the bank, what difference does
that's
it make?
Us, Stick. That's not.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't wrap my head
us.
around that. Like, you know, I don't understand.
Millionaires want more millions. That's just the way it is.
But is that, like, for a guy like Jim Harbaugh, he's quirky enough to where it's like money isn't the object to him. It's more about pride, it's respect, it's dignity, it's honor, it's legacy. Like, I feel like Jim Harbaugh is weird enough to not care about money.
But there's 32 gigs in the NFL.
But he's already had that gig.
He had it, but they cut it short on him.
That's true.
They cut it short on him. And, personalities don't mesh all the time. He's got the Rain Man going. He really does. He's a happy-go-lucky guy. He's weird. You see him on interviews after games. They're trying to interview him, and he's like, yeah, you want to interview my guy? JJ.
I think that's an endearing thing. I don't think that's because he's weird. I think it's because it's calculated, right? This isn't about me. It's about we.
Yeah, but he really he does not want to talk about himself. And did you see the love he was giving JJ after that game? That's rare, man. That's rare. I just don't see guys like Nick Saban and back in the day, Les Miles. You just don't see it. Brian Kelly. You could see he truly loves his players. I hope he stays, wins a championship, and then goes to the NFL. But at this time, man, he's becoming a dinosaur in the NFL. They like all these young guys, right? Why would they hire this old man Jim? So he's running out of time. So I wouldn't begrudge him if he went to the NFL either. I wouldn't.
And that's a great point you make, Maz, about how in the NFL they kind of want that young, innovative guy. Jim Harbaugh, to some, is sort of like a dinosaur.
Yep.
And if he were to win a national championship at Michigan, which the team coming back next year, the schedule, I expect them to get back. I know it's hard to think about next year, but you can still have a lot of hope for next year. If he can win a national championship at Michigan, in my opinion, that would automatically make him the greatest coach in school history, along with being, in my opinion, the greatest quarterback in school history, finishing third in the Heisman in 1986, being a first-round draft pick, which no other Michigan quarterback has ever done. But that being said, he also has that monkey in the back on his back about the NFL that with the 49ers, they went to 3 consecutive NFC championship games and they did not get a Super Bowl. And those teams were consistently some of the best teams in the NFL, the most physical, those defenses with Patrick Willis and Navarro Bowman, but they never quite got over the hump. So there's a couple of sort of monkeys on his back that he's chasing. Me personally, I think he's more likely to win a national championship at Michigan than a Super Bowl in the NFL, especially taking over a job. I mean, it would be a job that was available because a coach got fired.
Correct.
Obviously not a good team. Not a good team. So if I were him, I would stay at Michigan, but I'm not him. He is a quirky dude. A team could offer him something.
Yeah, I just don't think he's not Neil Rule, right?
Always
Neil
about
Rule
the bag.
can be bought, paid for. He's about the bag. He'll admit it. I just don't think Harbaugh plays for that, especially once you got enough money in the bank.
Yes.
And it's not like his family's struggling. His brother's an NFL. Like, they're doing just fine in the Harbaugh household.
Yeah.
I don't think he needs to cut ties with something he's very proud of to go make a couple extra milli.
And I hope you're right, because he is
A couple ain't 20.
a couple. That is true.
It is when you already got it in the bank.
I know.
I don't know. Like I
We
said,
know.
Yeah. I don't know.
Right.
I hope I have those problems one day.
Me too.
The trajectory of my life,
Don't count
probably
on it.
not, right?
Yeah, don't count on it.
Not counting on it.
More money, more problems.
Yeah, I don't believe that to be true. Just
Me
different
neither.
problems.
Me
Just
neither.
different. I would rather take money problems than broke problems any
Me
single
too.
day
Me
of the week.
too.
It's like the
Go on, Flannel Sam, go on. Mike G in the WoodwardSports.com chat asked me if this is an Easy E or an NWA t-shirt. It's neither.
It's Ice Cube.
It's Ice Cube
Hey.
for Boys in the Hood on the Impala. With the, if you can zoom in maybe a little more, you see he's got the Detroit Tigers hat. I don't know if you can do that, Fletch. You got them skills? Ooh, there's my neck.
Hey.
Yeah, there he is. See, he's got the Detroit Tigers hat on. It's a dope shirt.
I will never watch that movie again.
Ricky!
Oh, don't even remind me.
Maz, tell us about the Folding Warehouse, not the basketball warehouse, the Folding Warehouse.
You mean this beautiful thing here, which is a bowling pin. You got to love it. You can knock them all down, not with a bowling ball, but with a football. Football and bowling, the two best games on earth. Put together by Chris Hutt, and it's in Hamtramck. Get on down there. Tell them Maz and the boys here at Woodward Sports sent you down there. 2 ways to play it. Very inexpensive. $12 from start to finish. Unlimited open play. And then you have a private lane reservation. Your own lane. 10 or 12 of your friends. 2 hours. That runs you $120, but it's all yours. For 2 hours, it's less than $10 a man. The bar is open for you guys. It is a fully stocked bar. Any drink you want. Over 100 beers on the menu and the $2 mystery beer machine. How about food? Bring your own in or have it delivered. They don't care. Just get your fold on right now at foldingwarehouse.com.
It's a great day to get some Centron in your life. Okay. There it is. Centron, here we go. Gotta grab the cranberry. Oh wait, it's 2 for $4. Gotta double up with the classic as well. Centron World, baby. Centron, available at select Krogers, and if you wanna know how, go to @CentronWorld.com. You get dope like me. You know what? Why wait? Great taste, guaranteed.
As chilly weather approaches, Big Boy's got the perfect comfort meals for you. Try our hearty classic meatloaf or our creamy Cajun chicken Alfredo. These will be sure to leave you craving for more. How about breakfast? Our stuffed potato pancakes are back with our lumberjack, blockbuster, and Santa Fe Garden. These potato pancakes will definitely fill you up. Whether it's for breakfast, lunch, or dinner, come stock up on the perfect comfort meal today. We'll see you soon at Big Boy.
You have an opinion? Make sure it's seen and heard. Corner, jumper, tweet us, hop on the YouTube chat, slide in the DMS at Woodward Sports on all social media.
Don't you tell me to stop, man. Stop that mess. Let JP do his live read, damn it.
Planet Fitness, thank you guys, by the way. Planet Fitness is home to the judgment-free zone with membership starting as low as $10.
Only $10?
Yes, only $10.
That's
you can
10
join
singles.
in club today or online at planetfitness.com. But don't forget, Woodward Sports will be broadcasting live from Planet Fitness on Eureka Road in Southgate all day Friday, January 6th. That is this Friday.
Let's go downriver.
Yeah, you'll get to meet Darren McCarty, Braylon Edwards, Ryan Ermanni, and the rest of the Woodward Sports team. Plus, there's chances to win tickets to see Joel Embiid, James Harden, and the 76ers take on the Detroit Pistons on January 8th. Plus, there will be free pizza for all from 12 p.m. to 3 p.m. It's Planet Fitness, Fletch.
Where your fitness is essential.
That's right.
The intensity of this game will go up. It will be played like a playoff game because it is win and get in, or you don't win and you go home one way or another. And so, and they're looking at it that way. We're looking at it that way.
Dan Campbell talking about the intensity of this Sunday night football game between the Detroit Lions and the Green Bay Packers. Welcome back to WoodwardSports.com and Fox2Detroit.com. My name is Stick, filling in for Ryan Ermanni today. We have Flannel Sam filling in for Braylon Edwards. Tom Mazawey in here causing mischief like he always does.
You see Mike G's avatar?
No. What is Mike G?
It's bald-headed Jeff.
Oh, it's Harbaugh. Jeff Harbaugh. That's what we're going to call him.
I love that.
Well, unfortunately, that's the only time we're going to see Jeff shave his head. I don't think he's actually going to do it. And
Can we get off his back?
No.
He made a mistake. He did. He's a young man.
He represents all of us.
But he made a mistake.
And I just want to make this clear to everybody that watches Woodward Sports throughout the day. First of all, we appreciate you watching every show. That is awesome, and keep it up. Second of all, don't let one person's action reflect on all of us. Just because the morning show is not a man of their word doesn't mean everybody else at this network is not a man of their word.
I mean, just imagine what you're going to have to live up to if, and I don't even want to think about it, the Lions actually lose. I think wearing an Aaron Rodgers jersey for a whole year is actually worse than Jeff shaving his head. It'll grow back. I mean, I think he should have done it. I don't think he should have made that kind of declaration in the first place.
He made a mistake.
That's the thing, though. But he's establishing himself for the rest of his life here at Woodward Sports.
Not really.
Every time he says, well, if this happens, I'll do this, no one's going to believe you until you actually follow through.
Is that the boy that cried wolf? He only cried wolf once. The boy that cried wolf cried it like 3-4 times.
So what's your limit? How many times does he have to back out of a bet before he's a welcher?
This is his last one.
He only gets one welch?
He gets one welch.
One welch.
That's it.
That is the official rule of Tom Mazawey. One welch.
But the guys are mean to him on Twitter, so he's blocking some people. Let me tell you guys about getting blocked on Twitter. Let me tell you something.
Let me tell you a little something.
I throw block parties all the time because I don't want to deal with mean people. If you're going to be mean to me, I don't want nothing to do with you. This is sports. This is fun. If you don't have fun and you want to talk bad about me, talk bad about my friends or family, then I don't want nothing to do with you. You're blocked. So if Jeff is blocking you and you got a little, if your butt hurt, tough. Be nice. And that's the easiest thing to do is to be nice.
And me, on the opposite end, talk as much crap as you want about me as possible. I'm going to fire back, and all you're doing is helping the algorithm promote my Twitter, so you're stupid, and I thank you.
I mean, I certainly got a lot of it with my correct Ben Wallace take, but
we're not going there right now. Sam. We've had a nice 2 days of me and you not arguing. Maz and I have gotten into a little bit, but this Ben Wallace thing.
Wait till Ben Wallace actually comes in. Because you don't think that we're going to get Ben Wallace on the phone with you?
I'm sure you guys will. I'm sure you guys will.
We will.
It's all right.
We can book it.
Either way.
So get off Jeff's back, all right?
No, go at Jeff. Let him know. Let him know. Don't say things you don't mean. That's not what men do. And I love Jeff. Jeff knows I love him. He's a great kid. But at the end of the day, if you say you're going to shave your head, shave your damn head.
He is a great kid, and I love him too, but I wouldn't have done that. But that's the perils of being young. I mean, for those of you who don't know, Jeff is about 9 years younger than me, so I understand things that he doesn't. But he'll learn. He's still a great dude.
But also when you're young,
too hard.
your hair's going to grow back.
It's going to grow back.
Like he has the youth on his side.
And he says his girl's not, is ride or die and with him no matter what.
Oh, his girl loves him. Absolutely. I mean, he's the sexiest man on the planet. How do you not love Jeff?
He's the best looking guy here, that's for damn sure.
Wait a minute.
We're all aspiring to be Jeff Leifert.
Yeah. Yeah, Maz.
Yeah. What can I tell you?
Jeff looks like a young Maz.
Oh, God. I've never looked that good.
Let's talk about Dan Campbell. Sorry, we kind of got sidetracked with Jeff's hair conversation. But yes, the morning show, keep the pressure on Jeff. Make him shave his head.
Oh, for God's sake.
No, I'm with you guys. Solidarity. But either way, Dan Campbell treating this like a playoff game. Even though if... let's say the Seahawks win, it's not a playoff game for the Lions, but I love how he's prepping going into this game.
Absolutely, and it kind of speaks to the job that he has done this season. I mean, they play for him. They could have quit when they were 1-6, and no matter what, I think that the Lions are going to be up to play. I think they're going to play as hard as they've ever played all year. It doesn't matter the stakes, but that being said, the stakes could be for everything, and that is just... It's just such a testament to the coaching staff, the players, that they have made such a drastic leap from last year. They could triple their wins from last season. They could be a winning team and make the playoffs?
Playoffs?
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Dan Campbell, man. I was off the Dan Campbell train, but I'm all back in.
How are you not with this guy?
Are you not?
And you feel like we felt this early in the season with Hard Knocks that it seemed like a lot more people were on the Lions bandwagon.
Yeah.
And people liked us. This is why I wish Hard Knocks would have picked the Lions to follow up with mid-season. Oh my God. Because they followed up with the Cardinals, and what a train wreck mid-season. It's going to be fun to watch that train wreck afterwards and be like, what the hell really happened behind the curtain with the Cardinals? Like, does Kyler Murray really hate Cliff Kingsbury? Like, there's so much to go on there. But the journey of the Lions going from 1-6 to 8-7, what they are now, would have been amazing.
That'd be fascinating to watch, but instead you have to watch, which is kind of equally, maybe equally fascinating in its own right, the Arizona Cardinals, which may be the single biggest dumpster fire in all of the NFL right now, if we're being honest.
And it would have been fun to watch the dumpster fire. I would have liked to see that, but I really wish Hard Knocks would have picked up the Lions mid-season. But I think that early season momentum, it kind of went away when they were 1-6, but now they're kind of back to being America's darlings. And that's why I'm not as scared going into this Green Bay Packers game, because the NFL always is pushing the Aaron Rodgers narrative. You want Aaron Rodgers, you want the mystery of
That's why they're there. That's
you
why
want
they're
the
on.
historic. Yeah, but I don't think it's all Aaron Rodgers this year. I think it's the story of the Detroit Lions, the little engine that could, the ho-hum underdog, and the Lions have an opportunity here to go in and once again shed the SOL narrative, do something that the typical teams would do, go into Lambeau, fall flat on their face. This is a great opportunity and another continued building block for this team.
And they've earned it. They've earned their place as sort of that darling again, because if they weren't 8-8, if they hadn't crawled their way out of that hole, this wouldn't be a Sunday night football game. And even if it was, it would be all about Aaron Rodgers. And you're right, it's not all about Aaron Rodgers. It's mostly about Aaron Rodgers, and especially because he actually has a true win and you're in. But the Lions, they could have it too. And just to see, 1-6 turnarounds to 9-8, that never happens. What did Maz say? The only time a team's made the playoffs since 70?
74. Or was it 70? Oh, the first year of the Bengals.
Yeah, their first year in the NFL.
Who doesn't love a story like that? It just speaks to perseverance and hard work and getting back up when you're down. It's such a relatable story to like the average person, especially the Lions, the worst franchise in NFL history. There's just so many storylines going into that game on both sides. It's fascinating theater, honestly.
Hey, all the times they played Green Bay towards the end of the year, a couple of times they had a chance to win the division, and they crapped the bed. And they met a quarterback that they've made a name for him. Who was the guy that threw for 450 yards?
Matt Flynn.
Yeah. They you know how much money they made him?
He got $40 million to go to Seattle and get benched for Russell Wilson.
On that damn game.
Yeah, I know.
On that damn game.
I remember.
And they've always had a chance. You heard Rodgers yesterday. We played his sound. We played the Lions. He always remembers the 2016 game, obviously the Hail Mary to Richard Rodgers. He mentioned that. He also mentioned, hey, we play for seeding a bunch of times, and they've always beaten the Lions when it's come down to this. This is going to be a very hard game for them to win, because I think Green Bay right now is playing their best football. They're home. Lions are playing very good football, some of their best, albeit 2 weeks ago at Carolina. I don't know what the hell happened to them that day. If they had only played halfway decent that day, we wouldn't be talking about this game. But if you're going to stay close with this team, there's going to be flags coming out at the end of this game, and they're all going to favor the green and gold. That's just the way it is.
No, God, Maz, you're already blaming the refs.
I'm just telling you, man. It's been that way in the history of this series. The Lions are not going to get any breaks. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. I hope they play well. I hope they have a chance to make the playoffs. If they do, then it's time. If they don't have a chance to make the playoffs, don't hold your breath that they're going to play great.
See, I think they will either way, because this is, like we've discussed, this is a different team. They got a different mentality. They got a chance to screw up Aaron Rodgers, to screw up the Packers, to win a divisional game, to go on the road, to end the season with a winning record. The playoff game is on the line, but there's also more on the line than just the playoff game, and I don't think the Lions will come in and lay down if Seattle wins. I think they may come in even more pissed off that now they got nothing to play for. We're taking it out on you.
And this is a Lions team that can do that. Aaron Rodgers in his career is 18-7 against the Lions, but he's faced some really bad Lions teams.
Oh, yeah.
And this is one of the best Lions teams that he'll ever face with everything on the line. Well, maybe not everything, but potentially everything.
It is for the Lions, everything.
And a winning record?
Yeah.
How far would that go? So, I think Aaron Rodgers, he's got a lot to fear with the Detroit Lions, but at the same time, as Maz has been saying, the Packers are playing better as well. They've won 4 in a row. Their defense has only allowed 17 points per game in the last 4 games. So
they're running.
And Aaron Jones, he's kind of quietly had another 1,000-yard season, over 5 yards per carry. They're both peaking at the right time, and they're both teams that were way out of it. So it's going to be it's fascinating to watch.
I cannot wait for Sunday night. Like I said, I got that bet where I got to wear an Aaron Rodgers jersey, or if the Lions win, Pat McAfee has to come here and do a show. If you missed the show earlier, we talked about that. Yeah, you better have us on.
He will.
Because we're the ones that are bringing them here.
He will.
And to Honolulu Blue Sparty in the WoodwardSports.com chat, we were talking about honoring your bets. He said Stick should have stayed the night on a billboard like he said he would last year, because last year I said I was going to live on a billboard till the Lions won. Reached out to billboard companies. Unfortunately, there's this thing called liability. They would not let me just live up on a billboard. I tried. Then we tried to arrange a building. I was going to live on the Carpet Guys building at 14 Mile and John R. But then by that time, the Lions pulled that miraculous win over the Minnesota Vikings, and I could not do it.
You were saved.
I tried. I really tried to live on a billboard. I can promise you, I'll show you the paperwork from Lamar and out front.
We believe you.
You believe me. These guys don't know me, so they may need receipts, but we got receipts too.
You like how they remember everything, though?
I love it.
Yeah.
They good. Hold my ass accountable. I love that, man. That means you've been a fan since day one. That's when I was doing the morning show, for Christ's sakes. Let's tell you about Les Stanford, another one that have been a big supporter since day one. Les Stanford has expanded into Ferndale, the trusted name for over 50 years. Les Stanford Buick GMC, the same great service that customers have come to know. Go check them out on Woodward on 9 Mile. So really 6 miles down Woodward from here, because we're at 15 and Woodward. Go check them out. And of course, if you're looking for a Chevy or a Cadillac, Les Stanford in Dearborn. Find the brand you want at lesstanford.com.
At work and at home, we're there with smarter security solutions. Featuring complete automation with customized alerts and more. For over 90 years, we've been the company that's been counted on to protect what matters most, all with personalized service and care. Right now, for a limited time, receive a free video device plus free installation with a new home system. Guardian Alarm. We protect Michigan.
Can't get enough Woodward Sports content? Head over to woodwardsports.com right now for up-to-date sports articles and great entertainment news. We have the best writers, bloggers, and coverage all at your fingertips. Head to woodwardsports.com right now to experience all Woodward Sports has to offer.
At Alta, uptime matters. That's right. Alta Equipment has everything you need to get the job done. If you have a big project coming up, why not give Alta Rental a try? Alta Rental has got you covered. Call them today at 844. Go to Alta. That's 844. Go
the number 2.
To Alta.
I know as far as us picking him and for what we wanted him for, he's everything we wanted, man. I mean, this guy's a football player. And with the number 2 pick in the draft, we get a football playing dude, man, who's high motor and he's versatile as hell. And so I don't know what that is. You've asked me to cast a vote. Yeah, I would cast a vote. But I don't know all the ins and outs of everybody else. But for our value, absolutely.
That is Dan Campbell talking about Aiden Hutchinson and being Defensive Rookie of the Year. This is WoodwardSports.com, and we are live on Fox2Detroit.com as well. My name is Stick, filling in for Ryan Ermanni today. Flannel Salmon for Braylon Edwards, Tom Mazawey, JV Smooth with the beats behind us, and of course, Fletch is in here as well. He was talking about Defensive Rookie of the Year for Aiden Hutchinson. Also potential of the year is Dan Campbell for Coach of the Year. At one point, he was second. I think he's dropped down to about 5th now on the list. I think he's plus 3,000 now.
Really?
At one point, he was like plus 170, 150, something like that. But I think Dan Campbell, if he gets into a playoff game, he's got to be at least one of the top 2 guys, even though Dabble has already kind of secured his playoff spot.
Yeah, I would put him as, if they make the playoffs, one of the top 2 guys. But ultimately, I would give the award to Brian Daboll objectively, because he has taken this team in his first year from a 4-win team under Joe Judge and that disastrous tenure to they are in the playoffs already. I mean, Saquon Barkley has his career high in rushing yards under him. Daniel Jones is playing well. And what was Brian Daboll known for? Being an offensive guru.
Yep.
The guy that kind of unlocked Josh Allen, and the offense is playing great, despite having a terrible and injured wide receiver core where Darius Slayton and Richie James are your top two wide receivers.
Richie James.
I like that kid.
He is good.
They're not terrible, but you don't want them as your 1 and 2, I would say. And then that defense, too, has also at times this year been hurt by injuries. Jalen Smith, Adoree Jackson, Kayvon Thibodeau, Tay Crowder, Leonard Williams, and Xavier McKinney have all missed multiple games. So given the talent level that they have, this is a team that is way ahead of schedule. Given the injuries, given the fact that Daniel Jones has been playing mistake-free and running the ball well, Saquon Barkley has been unlocked again, I think you got to give it to Brian Daboll. That playoff spot is secure. They're going to be a higher seed. It's incredible what he's done, but I also, of course, have a lot of love to Dan Campbell. I think, to me, he lost out on Coach of the Year with what happened in Carolina.
It's a good point, man.
Yeah, both things can be true. He's had the coaching job that he's done has been phenomenal. But Brian Daboll, I know you're a fan of his. He's done a great job.
I am a fan of his. But I think you're right. If the Lions go on that 9-game winning streak to close out the season,
Campbell.
it's Dan Campbell.
100%.
There's no other way than
Yes.
Dan Campbell. Looking at the odds right now, Nick Sirianni is plus 125. Kyle Shanahan has hopped up this list to plus 200. And I think because he's doing it without a quarterback, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
and they haven't lost since CMC's come aboard.
And that's a tribute to Kyle Shanahan.
They
how
can run
he's
the table.
utilizing his players, and that defense is unreal.
I mean, Kyle Shanahan's one of those guys that could probably win it almost every year. But when it comes to Coach of the Year, that's usually an award for teams that exceed expectations.
A guy on this list that I don't think we've discussed enough is Doug Peterson.
Doug Peterson's done a phenomenal job. I mean, there's been a lot of good coaching jobs. I mean, Doug Peterson took over from that disastrous Urban Meyer tenure.
Number one pick.
Yeah, Trevor Lawrence looks great. They're off. Travis Etienne, the old Clemson duo, is back and playing well. I mean, they have a chance to go to the playoffs as well. So, yeah, you got Doug Peterson, Dan Campbell, Brian Daboll, even a guy like Pete Carroll. You can't go wrong.
That's the guy I like.
You like Pete Carroll? Pete Carroll isn't even on this list. It goes Sirianni,
Should be.
Shanahan, Daboll, Peterson, Zach Taylor, Dan Campbell, Kevin O'Connell.
Kevin O'Connell had a great run. You know, the Vikings, the best comeback in NFL history. They win all their one-score games. They got blown out 3 different times. That's going to kill them. Nick Sirianni, he can't win without Jalen Hurts, it looks like. It looks like they can't win without Jalen Hurts. That's what gives me Jalen Hurts as still the MVP. Even though he is out, since he's been out, the Eagles have lost 2 straight games.
Yeah, sometimes your absence speaks louder than your presence.
Yeah.
And this
Is that
is one of
something?
those situations.
I'm telling you, but Pete Carroll took a Seahawks team that traded Russell Wilson for a whole hell of a lot of picks and, a player or two. They hit on all 5 of their picks. Every one of their first 5 picks were playing on this team. The way he's got them playing is amazing. Geno Smith, resurrected. Geno Smith, guys, is going to get paid after this year. You know that? He's going to get paid. And I'm telling you.
Not after he gets destroyed on Sunday.
Well, I hope you're right.
It's the end of Geno Smith on Sunday.
Pete Carroll, he has a way. He knows how to do it. He got Russell Wilson to become Russell Wilson, and he's got Geno Smith to be the best Geno Smith that he could be. But to me, I'm telling you, I still think it's Dan Campbell. If he wins this week, to me, he's Coach of the Year.
What if they don't make the playoffs? Does that change anything for you?
Yeah, it probably does. And it's only because, like you said, that Carolina game is going to stick in our craw. Other than that, to me, he would have swept in. So, Daboll's done a phenomenal job with the Giants. I've never seen them so cohesive. I've never seen Daniel Jones be so good. Maybe he is going to be that number 1 draft pick that they put on him. Maybe Dave Gettleman was right? Maybe the guy turns out to be a good one.
I mean, Daniel Jones, to me, he's never going to be that top-tier quarterback, but the way that he uses his running ability, the way that he's not turning the football over, and he doesn't have a lot to work with as far as wide receivers.
He's Tannehill.
That's a perfect comparison. He's literally Ryan Tannehill.
He is. He's Ryan Tannehill. You surround him with the right parts, he's a good quarterback.
And what does Tannehill have? He has a Derrick Henry. What does Daniel Jones have? A Saquon Barkley, who's just about as good. So, yeah. The coaching job that Daboll has done to kind of maximize those two has been great. But, yeah, like you said, Pete Carroll, there's a lot of good candidates. But the fact that Dan Campbell
was on the conversation,
and I keep saying it, and I'm going to say it till I'm blue in the face. They were 1-6, and they were dead. We were talking about tanking.
But also, they were 1-6, and that was on Dan Campbell's watch too. So it's tough to give them too much credit for going 1-6 and rebounding. A good coach never would have went 1-6.
And that's true. And I'm not saying that he should get credit for that. I'm saying if they can turn it around into playoffs, they're not turning it around into like 6-11. They could potentially turn around into playoffs. And for that, I could totally. I mean, if they make the playoffs and Dan Campbell wins Coach of the Year, I'm not gonna fight it, but I would still go with Brian Daboll.
They beat Daboll.
They did, and that would be they beat
They crushed them.
Yeah, and I forget what social media platform it was on. I commented on that. I think actually it was in the heavyweights chat a couple nights ago because I said head to head they won, and everybody's quick to point out this isn't a head to head award.
Right.
But I'm like, if it goes down to I can't decide between these two, why wouldn't you go to the head? Who outcoached who when they played?
I mean, Dan Campbell outcoached Brian Daboll. It was one of the most impressive beatdowns the Lions really have delivered all year, and it was Dan Campbell going against Brian Daboll.
The best one was Jacksonville. That was the best beatdown of the year. That was when they peaked, when they walloped Jacksonville and Doug Peterson.
And that's amazing because Jacksonville before then was playing well, and since then they were playing well. They had that one little sort of blip, and it was getting destroyed by the Lions. Trevor Lawrence didn't play well. And that was at the expense of the Lions. So Dan Campbell, he's got a strong case. I think we would all agree that he has a very strong case.
You're saying he's plus what, 3,000?
3,000. That's what I'm saying. If he's your guy, go put $100 on that.
He's worth $10 at least.
I was gonna say there's 300 if you win that bet.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that.
I'm gonna do
for sure.
that. Yes. Well, we got to tell you about Lady Jane's. Our friends at Lady Jane's. It's right behind Maz. You see it all the time. It is where Jeff Iafrate should go to shave his head because they are the experts in haircuts. They will give him that precision head shave, and they give him a scalp massage while they're doing it. Lady Jane's. Walk in anytime. Get your haircut. Get treated like a king. You know why? Because it's wicked awesome. Wicked.
Hi, I'm Dr. Jason Olafson, DC, the founder of the Custom Health Centers, and we've helped thousands of people learn how easy it is to lose weight and keep it off with our customized weight loss and body contouring programs.
With Custom Health, you don't feel hungry, you eat well. My name is Simeon Timbuk, and I lost 71 pounds on the program.
Call us at 844-789-THIN or visit CustomHealthCenters.com for a free consultation and get started for as little as $5 a day.
A ton of fun, a ton of sports, and a ton of man meat. Welcome to the Woodward Heavyweights, live daily 5 to 7 p.m. on Woodward Sports.
Downtown Detroit is all decked out this holiday season with the return of the Cadillac Lodge and the Monroe Street Midway. The Midway's got the giant slide, the winter bumper cars, and of course that indoor arcade. Not to mention, you can always grab a drink at the Lodge before or after any Lions, Wings, or Pistons home game. Shop, eat, and play downtown all winter long with Decked Out Detroit, and you can always check them out at deckedoutdetroit.com.
Welcome back to WoodwardSports.com and Fox2Detroit.com. My name is Stick, filling in for Ryan Ermanni. Today, we have Flannel Sam on the desk along with Tom Mazawey in his chair. JB, you just heard him talking about DeckedOutDetroit.com, and Fletch is here as well. Pistons taking on the Warriors tonight. I love watching the Warriors play. I mean, they are the team that you hope
Steph? Even without Steph?
Yeah, I like the Steve Kerr offense. I mean, they still have Poole. You still got Clay. You still got Draymond. It's still a fun team to watch.
I mean, I'm not a big Warriors guy myself. Somehow, some way, this narrative with Steph Curry being out was that he carried this team even though he didn't play. They've been playing well without him.
Yeah. Because it's a good system.
It is a good system. I'm not a big Warriors.
They can't win a championship without him.
Well,
Sam.
Obviously,
but I'm talking to you because you said Ben Wallace is.
I was going to say,
I want to make sure.
Are you a Steph Curry denier?
I'm not a denier. I think he's the 10th or 11th best basketball player who ever walked the face of the planet.
Okay,
good enough.
Yeah.
So what's your gripe with him then?
I mean, two of those championships, Kevin Durant was the better player in the Finals MVP.
Well, he was as good.
Yeah, but you're a LeBron slappy.
I am a LeBron slappy.
He wasn't the best player on all his championship teams.
Are you crazy? Yes, he was.
Well, he was better than Anthony Davis in the bubble championship?
Yes, he was. Yes, he was.
He was better than Dwayne Wade?
Kyrie?
In the championships, yes, he was. In the
How about
championship
Kyrie?
seasons. Yes. He led his in the Kyrie championship.
I'm not going to argue with you.
He led him in points, rebounds, assists, blocks, and steals. The whole team in the finals.
LeBron didn't hit any big shot for any of his teams.
Yes, he did.
Ray Allen did.
Okay, but
Kyrie Irving did. Not LeBron James.
In the Ray Allen saved his legacy game,
Ray Allen did save his
LeBron James
legacy.
hit the three to cut it from 5 to 2. That does matter. That does matter.
I feel like I'm, was it Black Panther? This is your king? The guy that cuts it from 5 to 2? No, give me the guy that took it from 2 to up 1. Come on, man. I love you, Flannel Sam, but if you're rooting for the guy that got you close instead of the guy that hit the game-winning shot, you're rooting for the wrong guy.
18 points in the fourth quarter. I guess that doesn't matter to people like you.
It matters to people like me, but in the big moment, who hit the big shot?
I mean, Ray Allen hit the big shot.
And who else? Kyrie Irving.
Who got the big block? The greatest defensive play in NBA history.
That's lies.
Tayshaun?
That's cap. That's as the kids say.
That's cap.
Talking about Tayshaun against Indiana?
Yeah,
Talking
that's
about
not better than the Reggie
Iguodala.
Miller block.
Yes, it was.
No, it wasn't.
Reggie, I mean, obviously
man.
Tayshaun's block was phenomenal, but Reggie
That won him the game, won him the series.
Won him the championship.
won him the Eastern Conference.
And then they went on.
5-game sweep after that.
Yeah, they did.
No, that block was more important for the history of the NBA because after the Pistons won the championship, guess what the NBA did again? Changed the rules to make it easier for your boy LeBron.
Easier for Game 7 of the NBA Finals is not as important as the Eastern Conference Finals block. That's crazy talk.
I said in the ripple effect of they changed the rules.
The ripple effect.
They changed the rules so LeBron couldn't be touched, just like they changed the rules so Jordan couldn't be touched.
Oh my goodness.
They did. Those are facts, Sam. Did the NBA not get rid of hand checking after the Pistons won in 2004?
Because honestly,
because I didn't like seeing teams hold people under 70 points.
I mean, I don't like watching 76 to 71 games.
I'm happy it's great defense.
I'm happy the Pistons won.
I
obviously.
like when a basket means something, not when they can just run up and down put 40 points up in a quarter. I hate that type of basketball. You know why? Because it's one-sided basketball. I like when it takes some offensive skill to put the ball in the hoop.
Speaking of one-sided basketball, Ben Wallace.
Yeah, and that's fine. But that's your argument. So you're okay with one-sided basketball being offensive, but you're not okay with one-sided basketball being defensive.
It's more okay for your one-sided basketball being offensive. You can't have 5.7 points per game in your career and be a Hall of Famer.
But you also can't just average 30 points and do nothing else like a Carmelo Anthony and expect to be a Hall of Famer.
Carmelo Anthony's a Hall of Famer.
I know. So is Ben Wallace.
No.
And they're each half a player, according to you. But you're okay with an offensive half player. You're just not okay with a defensive half player?
That is true. Just drop it.
All right, did you want to drop it?
No, I don't want to drop it. I want your answer on that. You're okay with a half offensive player going into the NBA Hall of Fame, but you're not okay with a half defensive player.
Because defense to me is more about effort than skill. Carmelo Anthony wasn't just
effort
useless.
Shouldn't be rewarded?
Not with the Hall of Fame. He's a great defensive player. He should be recognized for his Defensive Player of the Years in All-Star games. And also, for more than half of his career, he was terrible. He was terrible in Chicago. He was terrible in Cleveland. He was terrible in Orlando, terrible in Washington, terrible in his second stint with Detroit.
And Carmelo was great in New York? Carmelo was great in Portland?
He was great in New York. I mean, he was great for a time in New York. And I'm not a Carmelo side. Jesus Christ, why am I?
Because this is the prime. Carmelo's the prime example of one extreme to the other. That's why I picked Carmelo. And you said he's a Hall of Famer.
That's very good what you did, by the way.
Thank you.
It is very good.
I was on the debate team in high school.
That's good. It's good. I will tell you this, in case everyone forgot, the Pistons own the worst record in the NBA at 10-30. So I wouldn't count on a win tonight in Golden State.
I'm looking forward to Jaden Ivey, though.
Yeah, I hope he can do well.
I love watching this young man play basketball. And did you see the graphic we put up today on Woodward Sports about how he's trending the same statistics as a rookie Russell Westbrook had?
I mean, and say what you want about Russell Westbrook. I'm not a fan myself, but in his prime, I mean, he was an MVP. He was a perennial All-Star. If Jaden Ivey became Russell Westbrook, at least in production, we'd all be doing backflips.
Yeah, well, I always thought Russell Westbrook would have made a great Piston because, contrary to your belief, I believe effort translates. And Russell Westbrook, say what you want about his game, that guy never stepped on a court and gave less than 1,000,000%.
But he also sometimes could have dialed it back a little bit, and it would have helped him.
I will never debate that.
Yes.
He definitely plays too fast sometimes, but just like anything else in life, whether it's hiring somebody, whether it's a job, you would rather have someone you need to pull back than someone you need to push forward.
I mean, Russell Westbrook, like I said, I'm not a huge fan, but he is a Hall of Famer. I know someone like Adam Beydoun is going to like roast me for that, but he is, both things can be true.
The guy averaged a triple-double. The only other person to do that is Oscar Robinson. If you're not in the Hall of Fame for that, that's where, like, my Ben Wallace argument gets with you, too. If you do something that nobody in the history of the sport has ever done, you're in the Hall of Fame to me. And Ben Wallace winning 4 Defensive Player of the Year awards in a row, which has been never done in the NBA, to me, that puts him over the top. And that's my argument for him.
And he also didn't shut down Shaq in the finals.
He didn't shut him down, but he made it possible to single Shaq. Eldon Campbell also had a big effect on that too, and so did Memo Okur. They threw a lot of big bodies at him, but Ben Wallace being able to ISO on Shaq helped the other defenders shut down the other fringe players.
Yeah, because Shaq actually played well in that series.
Yeah,
Kobe, on the other hand.
Anytime you single cover Shaq, he's going to play well. But Kobe was used to double teams on Shaq. Now you're playing 4-on-3, offense on defense. You throw Kobe the ball in the triangle, and it's easier that way.
Kobe was a disaster in those finals. Nobody ever talks about that.
He was going through a lot during that time. Remember, that's during the Denver, like we don't like to talk about that with Kobe Bryant, but that happened.
It did happen.
And honestly, when they were staying over here in the Townsend, we were going nuts all night long, banging pots and pans, like keeping them up. Police called on us. I was a menace in the 2000s. I was working for ABC Disney, who carried the series at that time. So we had press passes. We had everything we need. And I was on the radio. We were decorating cars. We were doing all types of stuff. But yeah, we would sit outside the Townsend right here in Birmingham and keep those bastards up all night long.
Good for you,
And they
Stick.
called the cops all the time.
I'm proud of you, man.
No,
that's cool.
I've been a fan for a long time, man.
Yeah.
We've been doing this. So
Hey, Wings hosts the Devils tonight, in case you're getting down to Little Caesars.
An update
Arena.
on Vrana?
He is still a Red Wing.
There you go.
He passed through waivers.
All the panic in the chat yesterday. He's fine.
Big Ned and him went down to the AHL.
The Griffins. Yep, Grand Rapids. And if you're ever in Grand Rapids, go check a Griffins game. I was out there when they won the Calder Cup. It was a lot of fun.
It is. VanHaaren Arena is pretty cool.
Yep, good stuff out there. Thank you guys for being a part of the show today. Tomorrow, can't guarantee who's going to be on, but I know Maz will be here. So
God willing.
Fletch and JB will also be here.
You'll be here.
Will I be?
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Oh, yeah.
Let's do it tomorrow.
Ryan's on vacay.
Flannel Sam, we may see you tomorrow too. Who knows?
Happy to do it.
All right. Have a great day. Heavyweights are up next from 5 to 7. Please stick around. Enjoy that show. And make sure you give those fellas some hell for hating on Jared Goff, because Jared Goff, my guy. We'll talk to you later.
See ya.
Make sure you download the Woodward Sports app in the App Store and the Google Play Store today. Take Woodward Sports with you wherever you go and listen live on your phone or mobile device.